Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Races Driving League for Season 20, Round 25 of the Championship. Welcome to the second race of our three-race finale to the season, the reverse finales to end off the campaign. Welcome to the Netherlands for the Dutch Grand Prix Reverse, our second visit to Zandvoort this season. And it should be an exciting one. Smaller grid tonight, 14 of us on circuit for what should be a very exciting and high pressure 72 laps around the chaotic bull ring that is Zandvoort before the literal bull ring next week in Austria. I'm your host, Zach RC, here to bring you all the action. As always, alongside me is former RDL podium finisher Ben. Ben, welcome in, and hopefully we should be in for a good race. Zandvoort is quite chaotic the normal way around, so hopefully it'll be just as chaotic, if not more, the wrong way.
Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed. That's what we're hoping for at the end of the day. Looking at lap one being ridiculously chaotic, particularly if it is wet. There we go, first double of the evening.
And I'm sure there'll be many more to come over the next 2 hours. So, of course, the big talking point around the Zandvoort circuit being what is the banked final corner of turns 13 and 14, now serving as the run down to turn 1, which could be very, very volatile, to put it mildly, around this circuit. So I'm looking forward to seeing how everyone handles things. Obviously, there's less of us on the grid tonight. It's 14 runners at the minute. And I don't think we're going to see any more than this. But it could be an opportunity for those drivers who have been looking for more points finished this season, try and push forward and nab some points themselves. I'll be looking in particular in highlighting the McLaren of Alvar and the Ferrari of Courtney Goblin. Those two obviously be fighting for their respective constructors against each other. Ferrari still 11 points behind McLaren in the Constructors' Championship, and obviously looking to try and close the gap as much as they can prior to the final round next week, which will mark the longest season in Racers Driving League history at 26 rounds, eclipsing Season 17's 25. So it should be a fun evening for all, but highlighting those two cars in particular, as obviously both Drivers' and Constructors' Championships are now completely wrapped up. Haas have been confirmed as champions. Grumio, obviously Drivers' Champion a couple of weeks ago in Qatar. And now we've just got two exciting races to cap off the season.
Yeah, we have indeed. This one I'm really looking forward to. I've done a few league races around here before tonight, and it seemed very chaotic. So let's see if that will continue on, or if we're in for a more strategic event.
Truth be told, I haven't actually touched this circuit since the day the game launched to do any sort of. I may have gone into the time trial once or twice, done like a lap or two, and I was bored. But this is obviously you say you've driven here before, Ben. Ooh. This is a completely new experience for me. What are you seeing?
Yeah, PJ's just ran wide through turn. I want to say it's turn 8, turn 9. The double left-hander got caught up on the curve. That's a very easy one to invalidate a lap. But it looks like he has a board, and he will go again on the next one.
Got my eye on PJ now. Obviously out for the Alpine team. Those guys are still, I think, somewhat chasing Aston Martin in the race for what is P7 in the Constructors' Championship. But I think at this point, 40-point gap between the two teams. And I'm thinking at this stage that those positions could be locked in. We're looking at highlights of the Constructors here. The fight for third place continues on. Sauber, for the first time in quite some time, have taken advantage of Mercedes being down to just one driver. Same thing as it was last week and the week before. Obsessed Gamer by himself in that team, having to fend off both Imrie and HB Cook, which is a daunting task for anyone, given how those two have raced over the course of the season. But yeah, it should be good fun. But I think Sauber, truthfully, will be favourites for third place in the constructors at this point, given the fact they've obviously had strength in numbers the last couple of weeks. And I should think that tonight they expand their advantage and look to try and wrap up third place before the season ends.
Yeah, I'd have to agree on that one. So I've been on a really good run of form as of recently in the last few rounds. So let's see if they can take that form, put it into tonight, and show everybody what they're made of.
Obviously, Imrie came close once again to taking victory last week at Silverstone, denied by Grumio, who tried a sensational one-stop as Obsessed Gamer comes through the first time. The ball went at 9.773. We've seen a number of cars already out in circuit, Ben, so I'm guessing you are right in terms of track limits, that things must be quite tense and quite easy to get wrong. Is there any sort of danger points you look at in particular on this circuit as one to keep
don't know what's happened here though. Sorry to interrupt, but Curtis has lost his front wing.
Oh, what about his?
Bit of an odd one there for Curtis. And one of his lost it going up the hill. That's a very easy one to do.
Easy to get wrong. There we are. But I mean, are we trusting your expertise on this circuit a lot more than my own in this case, Ben? So I'll be ready for what sort of as we be quite knowledgeable tonight compared to compared to most circuits. Obviously, we both know a fair bit. As Grumio goes fastest there, 1 minute 9.1, and Imri tops that 1 minute 8.8. So these two are set to do the rounds in what is the final qualifying session of the season. Let's not forget, because obviously no qualifying next week. It's reverse grid.
Exactly, yeah. So this will be the last time we see these 25 card. I believe this season in qualifying.
Oh, I've just seen one of the Haas cars take a bollard. That's Grumio taking out the what would normally be braking bollards in some cases on the actual circuit, but not to be in this case, which is quite weird because I don't think that they were still there. But there we are. Imri.
He did that at Abu Dhabi.
He did that as well, but I mean Abu Dhabi, they're going the right way around. So it's yes, I think he's a bit better in doing that on that front. One thing I did want to point out, I was going to wait until later in the stream to get this in, but we have finally, but I'm not sure if you've sort of kept your eye on your social media this afternoon, but EA have finally come out with finally a little piece of information, a snippet of information about the 2026 DLC as proof that it is happening. And
you what?
Okay.
Some information.
So I'm guessing I'm guessing that you,
yes,
as well as perhaps a number of our viewers today, may not have been on the old socials today, but as I have no life, that is the case for me. But so yes, around sort of between between about 4 and 5 this afternoon UK time, EA and Codemasters put out a promotional post for the 2026 season pack, as they're calling it, on F1 25. There's going to be a trailer for it on Wednesday, which someone's keep an eye out for. So that'll be Wednesday afternoon at 4, that'll premiere. I doubt there'll be much to it. It'll just like a reveal trailer so we get our first look at these cars. And obviously this will serve as our release for the year. You see AT getting a nice tow there off of Grumio, and obviously these two working quite well together on the towing front, as they always have done the entirety of the season. But yeah, so I'm thinking we're going to get to see some more in terms of what these cars will look like. And the other thing is that the release date was accidentally, I think, confirmed, because I went on Steam earlier when they put the promotional post out, and I saw the date being marked as June 3rd, which is what we all thought. Essentially, the release date's been held under our noses for the entire time. We've had no verification from EA that is the case. So June 3rd is the date we'll mark on our calendars for the time being. And obviously, Season 21 is set to start the following Monday. So we'll see as to in terms of what the plan is going forward for Season 21. We'll leave that obviously to the intelligent beings, the intelligent people running the show here at the RDL. In particular, this man JB, who's just starting his first flying lap, obviously because kept the league going once again for another fantastic season of racing. 20 full seasons of RDL. It's fantastic to see, and obviously he's come alive in recent weeks too. 3 point scores in his last 3 races, 5 in his last 7. And yeah, it's been good stuff from JB recently. He might be able to try and get himself past PJ if he scores enough points in the championship today.
Yeah, maybe able to. It's not over till it's over. That's what JB will have in his head anyway. Just get a solid race, clean racing, maybe finish at 7th, for example. I think he'll be happy with that.
Or if memory serves, JB has actually managed to win a Grand Prix this circuit before, as far as I know. So this is one of his Grand Prix victories, if memory serves. Obviously, quite a while. I mean, it was quite a bit before my time in this league, so I can't verify that off the top of my head for sure. But yes, JB's always performed somewhat well here, and I'm hoping that on the reverse layer he'll be as competitive, if not more competitive. But you never know. These reverse circuits are an absolute toss-up. You never really know who's to come out on top on these things. Obviously, Grumio sort of took everyone to school last week. As JB comes to the line, it's going to be a 1 minute 9.3. It's now for 4th place on the board, behind Imri, Grumio, and Huff, who's obviously been come through as a great reserve in qualifying over the course of the season. We saw it very early on in the campaign, remember, in Monaco, his first run, where we thought for a second he was going to try and perhaps even nab a reserve pole position. Didn't manage it. Qualified on the 3rd row. Fell back in the Grand Prix. But he's come alive in recent weeks. Half this week in the Williams. And we're looking forward to seeing him on the grid next season as a full-time driver. As far as I know.
I don't know whether that's been confirmed yet.
Okay, well then I
Maybe
shall...
want to speculate.
Okay, so in that case, I shall leave Elite Talk of Season 21 alone for the time being. We'll focus on what's going on in front of us, Season 20, in which you have 8 minutes to go in qualifying this season. And of course, the battle of raging on the front between Imri and Grumio. Those two have obviously gone around to each other in the last couple of, the last sort of 5 or 6 races or so in particular. Those two have been sort of the forefront, the front runners, save for the race in Qatar, where Imri obviously fell away very early on the start. In terms of most pole positions, Grumio can only tie Imri for most poles this season. as he cannot go one clear. It's currently 12-11 in Imri's favour going into this one. Yeah, and then obviously Che got the other one, so that makes the 24. So Che technically has the tiebreaker. We'll put it that way, Ben.
Yes. Yeah, I think Che's the one who's upset the rhythm, shall we say.
Definitely, that's definitely a good way of putting it. Of course, I haven't seen Che in a few weeks. His last race was back in Vegas. He finished second that day. Second to Dan, who, of course, has wrapped up second place in the Drivers' Championship. The fight carries on for third place in the Drivers between Pope and Imri. 5 points separating those guys. It's another 43 from Imri to Che. And 10th Cannon still striving on in the race for what is 6th place. 2 points clear of TJ. And Curtis is now... He is 21 points behind. So, I mean, with TJ not in the Grand Prix, it's a big opportunity to try and put herself out of the window there. But she thinks she'd need to, in order to lock up P6 completely, she'd need to win this Grand Prix. Which, I mean, she's had quite a few fantastic races this season, but I can't see her getting around Imri or Grumio or Pope, for example. Pope's down in P5, so he's got some work to do. Half there into second place, 1 minute 8.898. We're nearing the end of the session now. We're going to get towards last runs. As Grumio is also runs like a yellow flag in front of him. That's his teammate going slowly in quite an awkward part of the circuit there. AT moving out the way in time. And Grumio into a big lock up there into what is normally turn 3. I'm going to have to get used to what the corner numbers are here. This will be turn 13 and the left hand will be turn 14 here, this final corner. And a longer run, and obviously still quite a long run to the line. Obviously DRS down here is going to be lethal going towards that first corner. It wouldn't surprise me as Grumio goes fastest. Ben, it wouldn't surprise me. Let's just say to see someone sort of go straight on into the barriers. If for a bit of contact on a DRS overtake, it could happen. You never really know.
Yeah, it's happened before. I've been involved in a bit of an incident where I sent a car airborne just for getting up the tiniest bit of grass. So it does happen, albeit it's an absolute nightmare when it does, because you essentially come to a full-on sudden stop after clouting that barrier at such high speed. So it does send you airborne.
The sort of thing you wouldn't want to try in real life, let's put it that way. At the minute,
yeah, try not to.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think
Unless you have a death wish.
I don't think I'll get the chance to drive a Zandvoort in my life, so I'll stick to the game for the time being. But yeah, 13 of our 14 runners have now set lap times. The slowest one so far being Alvar, win at 10.802, and I'm sure Courtney Goblin will be looking at that being quite pleased. I think he might be banking on perhaps an Alvar retirement from this Grand Prix. We'll have to see just how chaotic things are. Obviously, these 100% races aren't always chaotic. Sometimes they are just sort of endurance races for a lot of our drivers. The fatigue starts to set in towards the end of the Grand Prix. We've seen a number of drivers sort of make mistakes in these places later on in the past. So plenty to keep an eye out for over the course of the 72 laps. It's a very long Grand Prix here at Zandvoort. And it wouldn't surprise me to see at least one safety car, despite the lower numbers on the grid. If we get one safety car, or at least a VSC, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think the weather can also play a factor into this race as well. Just one thing to know around it: the track isn't that great. It's draining away, so it could well be on the intermediates for a while. But at the moment, in qualifying, looks it's like a good day here on the shores of the North Sea.
Do you know what? That is geographical knowledge that I don't have, or that I did have but forgot at some point. So there we go. North Sea is your location geographically from Ben there. We get to our last 4 minutes of qualifying, and it's still Grumio on top, followed by Imri by 3/10. It's Huff in third, JB in a fantastic fourth right now, and he'll be hoping that we don't see a ton of improvement to the cars behind him. Pope in P5, Curtis P6, and it's AT, PJ, HP Cook, and DJ on top 10. Obsessed in P11, and it's 10th Cannon P12, Alvar P13, and Courtney Goblin, the last car, who I hope we'll see on the circuit at some point in these last 3.5 minutes, currently in P14. As you see, Curtis make his way in through towards turn 12. Into the right-hander he goes. It's definitely a disconcerting looking experience to see that corner being taken the other way, and at such speed too. You approach it so much faster than you would normally going the correct way around at Zandvoort. So you're just sort of leaving turn 2 and thrown into that immediate left-hander just after that. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys navigate it over the course of a Grand Prix consistently. As you see AT being pushed back to the garage there by the Haas mechanics. PJ out on circuit for Alpine. He's pushing hard on his lap, and I think this is likely to be his last run. Imri's on his out lap. I think we should see Grumio out one more time at least in this session. That's the same thing for AT if I had to guess. Imri, though, on those soft tyres, has got a nice clean bit of racetrack in front of him, no distractions. And Cannon also on her out lap. So no apologies, that's JB on a flyer going in through turns, through turns 2. And yeah, I mean, he's doing fantastically there. Obviously, V-Carb were quite strong at the start of the season. It's obviously tapered off a little bit in the mid portion, but 10th obviously has come roaring back with a number of podiums, and JB's now obviously finding his footing as well. So RB in for a strong end to the season. It wouldn't surprise me to see both those two cars scoring quite highly today.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they do. We'll see if they can pull it off. But just watching PJ looked a very good, solid lap up to this point. Going for the final corner now, the left-hander. It's a tricky one, this, because if you get stuck on the curve like PJ did, you miss the apex slightly. So it costs you a bit of time all the way down to the line.
1 minute 9.4 for PJ, now for P6 on the starting grid as it stands right now. 2 minutes left to go. Next car to the line will be one of the Red Bulls. Yeah, that's the only Red Bull. That's Curtis off the last turn. You just saw DJ start his last lap. Curtis to the line. Okay, you think he's abandoned it. Never mind. And we'll keep an eye around here as to drivers on those last runs. Everyone's trying to find a bit of space in the circuit. Yellow flags are out. JB's retired the car in the garage, I think. He's calling it quits. I can't see another car moving, so I have to assume it's him. Imri is quite slow at the last corner. He's really backed off for here. Like, really backed off for some odd reason. He's gone again, but Imri going very slowly here, Ben. I'm not quite sure as to what's going on with him, but I'd say it looks like he's almost in place to try and give Grumio a tow. There's AT waiting to meet up with his teammate. There he is.
Gotta be careful with these games here, Imri. He's only got 1:10 left to go. He's already out. He's just had a massive snap coming out of turn 4.
Slid it, yeah, going out of what is turn 4 on the circuit. I'm just going off these based on the actual track map, but just sort of the numbers are in reverse. Imri retires the car.
Retired.
And that might mean Grumio is now a shoo for pole unless Huff can stop him. Huff's just starting his last lap now. He's giving the teammates giving a tow to Obsessed Gamer in behind him. But Obsessed backing off himself now. And a number of drivers sort of weirdly calling it quits here on these last couple of laps, Ben. Obsessed is retiring the car as well. And you see AT running behind his teammate now. Those two are nice and smooth.
Too much curve from Horth going through turn 5, I want to say, turn 4. Slightly down.
I saw him up in the first sector by a little bit, by about half a tenth, so not a ton there. He needs another 3 attempts or so to get himself onto provisional pole now, and that's not even counting in Grumio's, I guess, from his last lap as he gives AT a tow, blockers him off, going into 1, and Grumio slides. Oh, that's a big shot from the champion. He's off as well. Crashed the car going towards turn 2. He just slid off and plunged the front left into the barrier. Wow.
Yeah, that can happen as well if you get stuck on that curb.
Quite a nasty looking shunt there, Ben, and I'm hoping we'll see more of that in the race.
Well, we like a bit of chaos, but let's hope the drivers keep it clean tonight. It's Huff up to the line. Can he go onto the front row? Indeed, he does.
Gets onto the front row, but not enough pole position. Grimio's got that nice and safe here. Checker flag is up. He's just saw PJ come to the line for P7 on the board. Courtney Goblin got a lap in 1 minute 11.052. Didn't see him during qualifying there. As DJ into P9. Pope towards the line himself to complete his lap. It's a 1 minute 8.9. Enough for 4th place onto the second row, dispatching Curtis from that position. And we only got 18 HP quick now to cross the line. There's the Haas and the Sauber. As obviously the as 80 comes towards the line to complete his effort. 1 minute 8.996 enough for P5 there. So Curtis goes down further. And here comes HP Cook up by 1/10 and a quarter. In through the second sector, up towards the line to complete his final effort of qualifying. The last quali lap of the season goes down as HP Cook in P11, 1 minute 9.536. But Grumio is the car on pole. He's the man to beat towards the first corner. Huff will join him on the front row. That'll be an exciting race to the first corner. And Imri in 3rd place, Pope in P4, and Ben AT rounding out our top 5 from an exciting qualifying session here at Zandvoort.
Yeah, a bit of a mixed-up grid as well.
Mixed bag then, and it should be a very entertaining run down to turn 1. 72 laps away to here at Zandvoort, but it's Grumio on pole, Huff in P2, Imri in 3rd, Pope 4th, AT your top 5, then it's Curtis, JB, PJ, Obsessed, and DJ round out your top 10. Cook in P11, 10th Cannon P12, Alvar P13, and Courtney Goblin rounding them out in P14. That is qualifying, and we'll join you back in a minute or two for the start of the Grand Prix. Welcome back to Zandvoort. We should be in for an exciting 72 laps for our final full-length Grand Prix of the season. Grumio on pole, Huff to his left for the run to the first corner. There's your circuit. There's 14 corners on circuit Zandvoort. Quickly won this race earlier on in the season, the actual Dutch Grand Prix. Obviously made a mockery of Grumio over the course of the evening. But this time Grumio, I think, will be the favourite to take it in tonight's race. Imri down in third place. But obviously, we've seen Imri make mega starts in recent weeks, Ben. So it should be an exciting one. But hopefully this race will be sort of a good trip for us, similar to a night out in Amsterdam. But enough of that story. We'll come back to that another time, shall we?
Yeah, that's one to come back to, but it should be an exciting race.
That is the main thing we're here for. And obviously, those who just missed the final qualifying session of the season, it was an exciting one. And obviously a bit of a mixed bag in terms of drivers in and out of position. And it should make for some very exciting action, at least in the first portion of the Grand Prix. These things do tend to sometimes taper off these full-length Grand Prix, so it kind of becomes more about endurance, more about who can keep their head for the longest. That's a key thing, especially around a circuit like this one, where things can go wrong quite quickly. And I'm thinking no further could a race go than the barriers at turns 1 and 2. That run to the first corner is going to be, or the first braking zone rather, is going to be immense. We're just waiting on the formation lap to get underway, just to obviously look into the race start. And a number of fights to keep an eye out for tonight in the championships. Of course, the race for third place, Pope and Imri, 5 points separating those two. The race between Sauber and Mercedes for third place in the constructors, it's 11 points in the favour of Sauber. Obsessor's got his work cut out for him. Keep an eye on Courtney Goblin and Alvar as they vie to put themselves in the best position for their respective McLaren and Ferrari teams as they battle to avoid finishing in last place in the constructors this season. No Lucky Lambert in this week, no Ericsson either. So both of them have got work to do in that sense, both solo drivers. But time to have a look at your full starting grid once again. And we'll have a look at starting tyres as well. Every single tyre compound in use tonight, Ben. It's Grumio on pole position, followed by Huff in P2. Both cars on a set of medium tyres. Imri in third place. He's one of the two cars that's gone for soft tyres for the first stint. Pope joins him in fourth place on the second row. Again, 5 points separating those two going into this event. And both of them have stood on the podium in at least 4 of their last 7 races. So enough to keep an eye out for over the course of the evening. AT and P5. Most recent driver to cross over the 100-point thresh mark. He's at 105 of the season, and point scores in both his last 2 Grand Prix. Guy just lines up P6, got a mountain to climb to try and get himself close to 10th and TJ in the race for P6 in the Drivers' Championship. Currently 21 points back off 10th in 6th. He's running in 8th in the standings. JV P7 with a 1 more point over PJ will put him up to P15 in the Drivers' Championship. So the driver on his right for the race to turn 1, PJ in the Alpine, the only car on hard tyres, is going to try and prevent that if he can. Obsessed lines up P9, has scored points 6th place in Abu Dhabi just 2 weeks ago, and looking to add to that to try and help keep Sauber at bay for as long as he can. DJ lines up in P10, again, failed to score points last time out, snapped that 4-race point streak, but we'll try and get it back tonight. HB Cook in P11, obviously looking to just double the effort for Sauber as they try and wrap up things for that team for third place in the constructors. 10th Cannon in P12, still fighting in the race for 6th place and leading that charge. With TJ out the picture, he's got a big chance to try and push forward. Alvar in P13, obviously we mentioned these two on the back row fighting for those points to try and put their teams in the best possible spots for the reverse grid finale. And we're on the grid here, Ben. It should be a fantastic race to watch.
It should be, fingers crossed, in for Corker.
The last 2 cars then taking their spots on the grid. Cottony and Alvar waiting for the off now. With Grumio on the front row. Here we go. Waiting for those lights for the penultimate race of the season. The final full-length Grand Prix of Season 20. The Dutch Grand Prix here at Zandvoort. Long hold, but it's lights up onto the floor, and we are underway here in Holland. Good start from both cars on the front row. Grumio covers off Huff immediately for the charge towards that first corner. Everyone going at full speed here as they enter turn 1. Imri around the outside of Huff, looking for second place. If he can take it, bit of contact between the 2 race leaders going in through turn 2. Grumio gets away despite a little bit of shove there from Imri, and everyone's gotten through nice and clean. 10's backed off to fall down dead last here on the initial start as Huff being challenged. AT Pope going side by side through turn 4. AT finds the grass just a little bit. You can see Curtis trying to go for something. He's sort of boxed in on the outside there, going into turn 5 for the first time tonight. But the top 3 pulled away nice and clear. Single file, 4-car fight for P11 in the back. Alvar leads PJ, Cottony in 10th. The rest of your order, but it's Grumio who leads Imri, and Huff still down to 3rd place.
Yeah, it's been a very clean start for everybody. Obsessed is now looking at 5th.
You saw there, what a start there What a start from Obsessed. He makes his way up. Yeah, it was into the 6th spot for the time being, but you can almost see him take 5th there, Ben. Good eye indeed as he tried to challenge Curtis for that position. Now, Obsessed has come alive in recent weeks. Big lock up from one of the cars in front as they go into turn number to go into turn 12. Again, going off the corner numbers on the actual track map to actually just sort of get our head around these things. As Grumio leads him out of turn 14 to complete the first of 72 laps. Long way to go in this thing, but Grumio's got himself off to a perfect start. And Imri right in tow behind him. On to lap 2 now. The top 4 have pulled away a fair bit here. There's about a second between Huff and Pope as it stands, but Hope should reel Huff back in. And here comes AT with a good charge at Curtis. Managed to dispatch Obsessed as they go in through turn 2 for the second time. JB on the tail of the Mercedes. He's equally got DJ behind him and HB Cook in P10. PJ is in P11, so JB's currently scoring 4 points more than Huff, which is what he needs to try and nab P15 in the standings. And obviously Alva out the points as well, so he might try and close that gap in a little bit. So obviously a lot of things as final positions to get determined over the next 2 weeks as Grumio leads Imri nice and steady here as they make their way in through turn number, that is turn 6 and now into 7. Keep an eye on the... Oh, Imri's going for a slide for a second there, but doesn't keep the car in line. As you can see, Curtis again being challenged. He's got an express train behind him, Ben. You can see how much he's just sort of lugging the rest of the field back there. 2.5 seconds up to Pope already, so Red Bull is falling away in the early portion of this Grand Prix.
I think he's just been fighting AT and Obsessed a lot. Is AT just
contact.
diving down his side?
He did. Sorry, I just got... Put myself off. There was contact right in behind them going in through turn 12. I think well, car then plate damage. DJ's got damage on the left side as Grumio sets fastest lap. He's quite slow there on corner exit. Is the Aston Martin. That might put him in trouble early on here. As you see PJ trying to go for the attack and DJ backing out of the way completely here, going towards turn 1. Damage early on. Then that will definitely put a spanner in the works. And for the driver, has been so good for that team in recent weeks. But Grumio now still leading Imri, but DRS in place. Things about to get a bit more interesting for these front runners.
Yeah, we'll see how far Imri can take those soft compound tyres until they eventually, inevitably die off. So
that'll be the big thing, in particular for Imri and Obsessed. The tyre wear is going to be immense, and I think the drop-off will be as well, as they once again make their way in through what is normally turn 8. Sorry, no, that is turn 7. And going through turn... I'm just still getting my numbers right here. So they make their way in towards the banked right-hander of what is normally turn 3. Imri giving chase here, and he's going to want to move with DRS sooner rather than later. I doubt he wants to spend his soft tyre stint stuck behind Grumio. I think he's done enough of that this season. Let's not kid ourselves in that sense. AT still holding up Curtis. He's going to try and move on the inside in through turn 14 to complete the...
Here goes Imri.
He's quite close there, but good eye. Around the outside as a pass potentially for the race lead as Grumio slams the door. It was very gutsy from Imri, but I dare say that won't be the last time we see someone go for a move like that on the outside. Realistically, it's the only place you can actually try and attack it. Look at the camera angle there as they make their way through that banked what is now a left-hander for these guys, as opposed to the right it normally is. We're going into NASCAR territory in that sense. Imri, look for a second, going to try into turn 5, but thinks better of it and stays in line as they go into 6. Pope has now closed the gap up to the top 3, so he's now on the tail of half of me. Obviously, he'll get DRS from these guys. So it's now 4.6 to AT, who's still fending off Curtis as they go into that corner. Curtis is going to try to switch back on the inside, though, potentially. And a good move here from the Red Bull as they go into what is now quite a tight turn 7.
Oh!
Obsessed through the gravel there. You saw that, Ben? Yeah.
That could have been a disaster for the Mercedes driver.
And not just for the Merc, but for everyone behind him, I should think, as well. Obviously, soft tyres in the game for Obsessed as well, who will think as to how long his tyres last before they start to hit the cliff. In addition, Imri closer than he was last time around to Grumio, but Grumio learning lessons here and moving to the left side of the circuit to try and break the toe as best he can. As long as he can sort of force Imri around the outside bend, I should think, at turn 1, then he should be okay to hold on to that lead for a bit longer. And again, Imri finding the grass on corner exit. I think I dare say we'll probably see about 100 trails through that grass on corner exit out of turn 2 in this race. So expect that over the course of the Grand Prix.
That an understatement there.
It might be. I don't know. Again, you've seen this circuit much more than I have. If you had to, from your races that you've done here, Ben, about how often do you end up hitting that patch of grass out of turn 2?
A lot.
Okay.
That's not me saying I'm a bad driver, because I'm not the best, I'll put it that way, but the amount of times I've seen everybody cloud that bit of grass is unreal.
I mean, in terms of your driving ability, Ben, I've got many clips in this channel that might sort of prove or disprove whatever you want to say about your ability.
Thanks. I know exactly what you're referring to.
It's what I'm here for, man. There's many things I can be referring to. You take your pick, mate. In through turn 14, Grumio's still showing the way, but Huff right on the tail of Imri there on corner exit. And Imri, again, as close as he was last time round, but still not enough momentum off that last corner to go for a move. And Huff was on his tail for a split second, but things seem to just sort of taper off as they make their way from that last corner. It's still single file in behind them. Cottony and DJ falling back a bit. DJ stayed out despite having that end plate damage, so no progress being made in his part. If anything, he's falling further away now at this stage of the Grand Prix. Only on lap 6, long way to go in this thing, so plenty of time for him to catch back up. Cottony is falling away. Alvar is also equally not scoring points. If Cottony can't score, and it's in Ferrari's best interest that Alvar also fails to score in this race to keep that gap at 11 points and hope for a big break in the race in Austria next week. And that would also be an exciting one given how Austria can be a yellow flag. Oh, Pope's right. Yes, good eye.
That's on the entry into turn 7, so God knows how he's managed that.
Did you catch that happen at all?
Must have just caught the grass on the outside.
Fair enough. I mean, Pope
I didn't actually see it.
Oh, gotcha. That's all right. Pope down to P6 now, so obviously quite a way down the order. Now about 7 seconds behind Huff in 3rd place. He hangs on.
Here's Curtis.
Curtis going for it again on the outside there for a second. Now JB goes for a pass himself and makes a move on Obsessed Gamer. I'm liking it. I'm liking the look of these moves being made into turn 12. It's going to be very interesting over the course of the Grand Prix to see just sort of how aggressive these guys get with fighting each other. Imri now tries again on the outside with Grumio into turn 1. We're trying to force his way to the inside, I can see. So these two quite quickly learning lessons about running nose to tail at circuits. Curtis again tries the outside, but no progress made. He tried the same thing that Imri just did, but to no avail, and Pope sits right behind him. They want to try and get around him sooner rather than later, Ben. But yeah, I mean, it's difficult to be oh! Pope went for quite a gutsy move there going into turn 3. It's Imri fighting the lead with Grumio. He had it for a split second, but slid up, and Grumio took full advantage, takes the lead back.
She's got to mind his tyres and mind the car behind him as well, because Huffy is going to not waste a single second being stuck behind the leading kick tower.
I should think the reserve in that, Williams. I think you're absolutely right, Ben. I should think he's going to be snapping at Imri's heels the second he gets a proper chance to make the way in towards turn 12. And do you know what? Would it be terrifying to think of that straight before the banked right-hander as a DRS zone? Would that be
yes.
too mad a thought?
It's Cook has just come round the outside of Obsessed.
Again, these moves through some of these corners are just fantastic to just sort of, perhaps not even to look at, just to know that they're happening. It's something you wouldn't always see get pulled off going the correct way around, and that's what I love about these reserve races. There's always sort of different angles to take, as Curtis is again challenging AT, put himself right up against the wall there for a second, in through turn 1, again trying to switch back to the inside, but nothing doing for the time being, and Pope is still again waiting right there to pounce on any given opportunity that one of these two might put in front of him. I see Curtis sliding a little bit there, and AT gets to pull away ever so slightly, as Imri is still chasing Grumio. Didn't get close enough this time to warrant a move.
PJ on the outside, but hits the Mercedes Obsessed.
So Obsessed obviously still in P9 there. PJ hanging on to that last point, but saying that, obviously Huff is a reserve, so those of you who know the audio reserve...
Oh, Obsessed is off.
Oh, car off! Just sort of ran wide there, but must in contact.
Yeah, it got stuck on the orange and white sausage curb, and it's just... once you're on it, you can't get off.
Do you know, there's a curve
like
around
waffling across it. Yeah, like you're waffling on the curve, yeah, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, fair enough. That is a very eloquent way of putting it, I'll give you that. As Obsessed continues on, he's down to P12 now, so out of the points paying place. I should think it won't be too long before he comes in for his first pit stop over the Grand Prix. Same with Imri, who again finds himself awfully close to Grumio, but this time just not close to think of anything for the time being. Huff again behind him, trying to punish anything he can. AT and Curtis still nose to tail. Pope's falling back a little bit away from these guys. I thought for a second he had damage, but nothing for the time being. JB in P7. And the RBs, in general, struggling to make progress in this Grand Prix, save for JB. I mean, JB, who's maintained where he is, sent up 2 places. The driver has gained the most currently. He's HP Cookie. He's up 3 spots since the race starts. He's managed to, he obviously started in P11 up to P8 now. And DJ, with that damage early on, has dropped the most places. He's down 4. You saw Courtney go for a slight slide there, leaving at the 4th corner as they make their way in through the second sector. Yellow flag is out, and that is PJ off on the gravel.
Got stuck on the Grass again going on the entrance turn 6, I want to say.
Do you know what? It's easily done around that complex of circuit, no matter where you're going. I mean, I'll come clean here and say that I've had a number of experiences running wide on that very long curve between turns 8 and 9, and going off into the gravel there. In fact, I mean, there's probably an old video, like way back in the day, where I do just that in career mode. So there's a gem for you to keep an eye out for in the future. Should I ever send it your way, Ben? But on to lap 10 now, and it's still Grumio, still controlling things up front. AT sort of opened the gap a bit more. Pope is now the driver to beat in 5th position. Curtis down to P6 now. He's fallen back a spot. As JB continues to try to chase these guys. Cook behind him. 10th P9 and Alvaro in P10.
Yeah, they're all in one massive train behind the second half of AT.
And this hopefully be something I'm looking forward to seeing perhaps changing a little bit on season 21. I mean, obviously the sort of yo-yo effect of overtakes happening across up and down the field with the battery rules in play for 2026. That's something I'm looking forward to seeing how they emulate in the DLC. So something to keep an eye out for season 21. Obviously, a number of seats to be filled still. Oh, car off!
Oh!
HP Cook. And he
Lost his front wing.
VSC. And I thought he had gone for a second. I thought I saw one of the... Yeah, VLC's out. I thought for a second he was gone because I thought I saw one of the front tyres sort of wobbling as if it had come dislodged from the suspension, but not to be. And everyone rushing for the pits, save for Imri, who stays out.
What bizarre.
That's a very odd call.
Call.
And given he's under Delta, if anything, he'll be losing time here because he'll need to pit again. This could be a concern for the two-time winner this season, as Grumio is leaving the pit lane now. He's on a fresh set of hard tyres and can go as long as he can. Pope, same thing. Pope is also staying up. Pope's on mediums, though. So less effect for him. 10th Cannon up to P4 now. She's also stayed out. So I can't see... I mean, I'm guessing Imra must know something that we don't, because I can't see why otherwise he wouldn't stop. I mean, Obsessive on the soft tyres too. He's now on to set hard tyres. There's your tyres from everyone here. And as you see, 4 cars staying out. Imri, Pope, 10th, and Cottony remained on circuit. But the difference being that 3 of those drivers are on the medium tyres. One of them's on the softs. So unless Imri is managing these things much better than we thought he was, then he could be in trouble. It's the green flag about to come back out here, I have to think. And wait.
I think it'll be any time now.
I mean, yeah, that works, Ben. You're better at timing it than I am, I'll give you that. Right, so green flag comes back out then. We're on lap 11 now, this Dutch Grand Prix reverse. And Imri is 8 seconds in front of Pope and about 10 in front of Grumio, if not about 9.5. But needs to pit and will lose much more time. He's going to stay out, so he must know something that we don't then, Ben. That's definitely a bold call, to put it mildly.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah, it's a strange one. I don't think, unless we're trying something different, unless it's gone on balance on allocation, so it's going to try and push harder on the 2 mediums. I don't know.
So we've got a lot of time to figure out exactly what Imri's game plan is. But for now, though, the eye will be on Grumio, who'll be trying to get around Pope, and Huff has got around 10th Cannon already. Obviously, he was one of the 4 drivers that stayed out on circuit. Made that 5 series. PJ also stayed on track as well. So PJ carries on. He's in P6 now. He's about 3 seconds in front of Cottony, who stayed out. AT right behind him as Cottony slides up the circuit a bit and may also fall out of line on corner exit. Sliding there and almost running into AT. DRS in play for the Haas, who pulls away. Cottony may have given AT a slight scare, and if he wasn't already awake, he's definitely woken up now. Curtis now got the next drivers have Cottony next on his hit list.
Oh, PJ. Again. PJ.
And off he goes. Yes, it's the gravel. So the other
same thing again.
The other flags put on the maps putting these guys in very weird places. So forgive me, Ben, if you steal these things before I do.
Yeah, PJ just done the exact same thing again as he did earlier.
Well, there we go then. He recovers the car down to P12 here, so not fantastic for PJ. 10th Cannon into the pit lane. She's the next car to make a stop. Obviously still fighting with Curtis in the race to confirm P6. Can't be decided today unless 10th wins the Grand Prix, which I think, again, would need a number of competitors out of the picture for that to happen. I'm sure she'd say that herself. As she makes her way out of her pit stall, and it's hard tyres on. I think the majority of these guys going for longer stints. It wouldn't surprise me to see everyone on hard tyres at the same time at some point during the Grand Prix. Long way to go, so there's plenty of window for it to happen. But 10-3
Yeah,
to
exactly.
P12.
Yep, as it looks like Pope and Grimo are having a bit of a battle.
Could be a good ding dong here between the two former champions. One of them a former champion, one of them the current and reigning RDL champion, as he has been for about 2.5 years now, has Grumio. As he makes his way through, there's a move going for it. Chris Grumio on the attack, makes the clearance up into second place once again. It's now just under 8 seconds to Imri in P1. And Imri still staying out, so he's done 13 laps now on those soft tyres, and I'm guessing he must have conserved them a fair bit to be continuing running, but he's about a second and a half down on his best lap times in this Grand Prix, and as Grumio across the line, he is about just under a second down on his, so Grumio looks to be gaining a little bit here.
He's gaining here and there, gaining in the corners. Obviously, Imri's on 13 lap worn soft compound tyres, whereas Grumio is only on 3 lap old hards. Massive tyre off there. We've got a knockout spinning, it's off.
Half around on corner exit, leaving turn 4. Look at that. Ben, okay, I don't know if you're seeing this, but the yellow flag put that in sort of the actual last corner on the real life circuit. It's yellow flag, there's 10th cannon off! And that'll be a safety car. We'll see if we get a glimpse of it from DJ. And, oh, that's quite a shunt there for 10th, who may have just sort of found the barrier going through the first corner. No clue what happened there, but that'll open the door now for Curtis to try and gain some big points, try and keep himself in with a fighting chance going into next week's reverse grid finale in Austria, which means that fight for P6, Ben, will now be on a knife edge. Safety car is out, and that will be, for Imri, almost exactly what the doctor ordered.
He 100% needed a safety car at some point, he's got it.
When he comes, and Pope is also coming as well, so Grumio will obviously retake the lead, but he won't be on the best tyres. So Imri may smell like a rose here on the restart, as he's going to recover himself and put himself back into what looks to be, yes, what looks like the second spot, as Huff stays out. Obviously only 50 laps to go himself, but we think we should see everyone in now. Cottony Goblin is the last car, sorry, Cottony Goblin and PJ the last car. PJ starting on a hard tyre, so he'll stay out for the time being, I should think. Yes, he is.
Did you see what happened with 10th cannon, by the way, Zach?
I can't say I did, but HP Cook is asking 10th in the Discord if he hit her. So I'm not sure if those two came to close quarters. 10th doesn't believe he did. So fortunately, no contact. It just looks like a individual accident for 10th. So unfortunately, we've got one runner down and out of the race. That'll open things up, obviously, for those drivers who are looking for points in this race. Only 2 of our runners now, as it stands, will not, or 2 of our full-time runners, will not end up with points in this race as they stand. Because Huff is still in the top 10 there. That means that everyone down to 11th will score points, provided that Huff stays in the top 10. If he falls, obviously, down to if he retires, then it goes back to 10 like normal. But you see now, things have changed. But Imri now on a set of medium tyres. He's going to be on the faster and fresher tyres then for the restart. So as I say, he's going to smell like an absolute rose here as they head on to the restart in a massive lap, probably about a lap or 2, if I had to guess.
Yeah, he had to try something different to the 11-time world champion, didn't he? It wasn't going to be him fair and square on track. He had to try something different. It may have just pushed Grumio into a world of unknown.
So a long Grand Prix still to come, but our first safety car, and we're here on going to lap 16 of this Dutch Reverse Grand Prix. Huff still there in 3rd place. Obviously, he's now been able to recover himself after the spin a few laps ago. We're seeing DJ. DJ has got his front wing, got his wing replaced, so he's now back in the order himself. So we might see him start to come forward a bit in the field. Cottony Goblin is in 12th place. He's obviously now on a fresh set of hard tyres. HP Cook in P11. PJ holding to that last points paying place, or normally last points paying race. He's getting 2 points as it stands right now, and Alvar is in 8th place. He's getting a decent little haul for McLaren, which will make their job against Ferrari next week that bit easier. Obviously, it's not over yet. Alvar could still go out the Grand Prix. Any of them could still go out the Grand Prix. JB still in P7. Curtis in P6. Top 5 going up in ascending order. AT, Pope, Huff, Imri, Grumio.
Yeah, this could be the lap the safety car comes in, so we should hopefully get back to green flag running, and let's see what else happens in this Grand Prix. We've still got, if my maths are correct, I want to say it's 7 laps.
I
Maybe
think
wrong on that.
it'll be 56 across the line, as far as I know. Ben, I do want to ask you before the restart. Based on what we've seen so far, is there anybody you'd back in particular to win this Grand Prix? Obviously, I know there's a long way to go, and you never know, but
Yeah, there's a long way to go. A lot of stuff can happen as the safety car just peel in. At the end of this lap, Imri's probably going to be looking really quick over the next 10 laps or so, so I think Imri would take the lead away, but I think Guru's going to come back at him.
just waiting now on this restart. We could see Imri make a fast move here, provided those tyres are in play and up to temperature. Grumio's going to need a good restart to try and keep him away, at least for this first lap.
Though.
Out of turn 14 and on to lap 17 to begin racing once again here at Zandvoort. An ERS in full deploy for both cars. Head towards someone, a slipstream from Imri, plus the general tow and the straight line speed going towards that first corner. Imri again, oh, he got close there, made contact, but was unable to find a way past. Imri, Grumio sort of look it was almost lifting off there going towards turn 3. Not quite sure what the game plan is for the champions to try and keep this guy at bay, but whatever it is, it better be good, because you see these two pulling away quickly from half in third place. Only about half second in front, but it still has a big gap to try and make up. As you see Obsessed and you see Alvar going side by side with the Mercedes driver as they go in through turn 5. And Alvar a bit wide on corner exit, in through 6 now. Obsessed on the outside. As Imri is side by side with Grumio and clears him, just going through turn 7. And Grumio will be trying to get back at him as we go through turns 8, 9, and 10 into turn 12. And Imri in control now as Grumio looks to try and keep him as close as he can, but that could be difficult. And Imri is already almost 6 tenths of the good. He is 6 tenths of the good now to begin lap 18. And this could be the start of the period of the race that Imri quite likes here, Ben, because he might start to just pull away as Pope makes his move to the outside and huff into turn 1.
That looked like team orders for Williams. Have we got a yellow flag in sector 1, or is that just glitched?
That's been a long time glitch, Ben. That's been here since the game dropped. Give it a lap or two, and it will go away because it's just in the safety car.
Sound.
As we continue on here, is Grumio now full second behind Imri, so work needs to be done from the champions to try and help to close Imri back in. Obviously, Imri's won just taken a victory at one of these full distance Grand Prix before. It was Singapore. It was a dominant performance, lights the flag. Ben, I don't believe you were here for that race, if memory serves. I think it was just me.
Say that again, sorry.
The Singapore earlier this season, were you here for that?
No, I was at Hills for that race.
Ah, yes, memory does serve now. I don't remember you telling me that. So yeah, but I mean, it was a dominant show of memory. It's the only full-length Grand Prix he's ever managed to win in the RDL of the ones we've seen so far in these first few seasons of that rule set, of this rule set rather. Grumio though we've just hit the DRS line. He is out of range, which could leave him perhaps vulnerable to Pope on corner exit, provided Pope gets himself close enough. Grumio's going to need to use battery to defend himself with fastest lap from Imri, 112.3, and all of a sudden that call to go long on the soft bed is paying off quite nicely, because that safety car has put Imri in big control as he pulls away by 1.2 now, and Pope will look to try and get under Grumio's skin sooner rather than later.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see if the tyre offset does work in Grumio's favour. He's also got Huff and Pope right behind him. So does Grumio focus on the pressure? We've seen it a few times this season.
Side by side further back, those P10 that they're fighting for, it's HP Cook and PJ. I say be careful fighting on the outside, given PJ's track record so far, but keeps it nice and clean. Grumio around!
Grumio, it's done it!
And there it is, the champion in chasing has been the latest victim over there at turn number going out turn 7.
What did I just say?
You did say that, Ben. Commentator's curse. It's fine. It's ready. Goes again.
Oh, it's again. What is going off with that Haas?
A full 180 as Grumio now finds himself in plumb last of the running cars and down by about 13 seconds. And Imri will be looking at that and breathing a sigh of relief, at least for the time being. It's 2 seconds back to Pope. Off into the barrier. Is he going? He's still going. He's good.
You got a slow puncture? What's happened?
It doesn't seem so. But he's struggling big time here. Has he got a puncture? No.
No, he's got rear wing damage, hasn't he?
Oh, that'll do it, yes.
He has.
And Grumio off the circuit again And this has gotten...
That's like me about the race.
If I had to guess, yeah, that'll be big for Grumio here. And that'll leave things nice and wide open for Imre to take advantage. As Grumio begins lap number 20 now. And going towards turn 1. It's a tough break then for the champion. He's still got his full speed into that first corner.
That's a risk and a half.
Full speed off into... I've never seen the grapple at an angle there.
Is he just trying to entertain us?
I don't know if I don't think he knows we're watching him, but he's gonna be very aware once he watches this back. And yeah, miserable lap for Grumio here as he goes in, as he recovers the car out of turn 3.
He's not far away from being lapped.
I'm sure he's aware of that.
Is I think someone has disconnected. Yeah, it's the second driver of the Keeps Alberts, HP Cook.
Cook disconnected. That could be trouble for him, given that PJ and DJ are on his tail as Grumio again goes off.
That's boring. That is so much more rear damage if it never had any.
And Imre will be probably quite pleased to see his long-time rival this season in the grapple there. Grumio's out. That'll do it then. There we go. And yellow flag for the back as Courtney and DJ and PJ went at it. Cook rejoins. He's good in P9 for the time being, but Grumio, there you go, then it is out.
Lost the position. Yeah, shame for Grumio is I think we would have been in for a stellar fight for the lead, and we could still well be in a good fight for the lead. Would have liked to see how that tyre offset worked in Grumio's favour. And Cook has only lost in one position after disconnecting.
So I think fortunately the yellow flags are out in that sense as Cook carries on. He's about 2.5 seconds back from Alvar, and PJ is putting him right under a bit of pressure himself. As you see how close he gets there. Cook a bit slower than it appears the cars behind, as PJ will probably try and get around him at turn 1 if I had to guess here. Off the last corner to complete lap 20 is DJ now into the pit lane. He's looking for a second stop of this Grand Prix. DRS in play for PJ towards that first corner. And DJ out as well. And that'll mean then that everyone still running from here will score points. That's a guarantee. As long as you finish the Grand Prix or make it to the classified distance, then you shall score points in this race. Now, big for the McLaren-Ferrari fight, which is still going in Alvar's favour as of right now. Courtney will get a point from this Grand Prix, provided that he finishes it, Ben. But McLaren set to open that lead up more. So Courtney's got to get the lead out now and try and gain some ground.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's another car off. It's Alvar. Slight error going through what's stuck on the sausage curve, going through between turns 6 and 7.
These curbs are lethal the normal way around, Ben. To tell you the truth, I mean, reverse, they're sort of still as dangerous, but there's also a sense of unpredictability to them, because this is not your normal Zandvoort, let's put it that way. But though, what Zandvoort really is your normal Zandvoort? I mean, given how mad it can be. JB into P6 now. With Grumio's retirement, that now puts him, he's currently scoring 10 points for the championship, and that'll be enough to jump him over PJ in the standings.
Yeah,
and if he gets another place, it might also be enough for him to try and potentially jump Alvar, maybe, if he gets close enough. I'm not too sure. It might come down to Alvar retiring from the Grand Prix, but you never know. Obsessed trying to challenge JB, though, going into turns 1 and 2. So you see this is the speed they carry, the sort of chasing car into the first couple of corners. Contact with them.
Oh, taps him.
And a tap there. JB recovers it and keeps the car in front as Obsessed may lose that to Alvar as a result. Obsessed will try to close back in to make a move again on JB, and I think we'll probably be a bit more wary this time round. I think sort of once you see yourself do it once, Ben, obviously things sort of reset a bit. You've got to sort of keep your distance at least for a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. And only on that 23 fatigueness isn't really playing a part today, up until this point.
Not as of yet, although I just think we're obviously we'll be too long before we start seeing teams close on their next stops. PJ, obviously he had to stop this Grand Prix. He's on those hard tyres and has done a fantastic job keeping them up so far. Courtney's chasing him here. He's he's less than a second back. Imre is still 2.4 in front here of Pope and Huff. As Obsessed now passing, Alvar now passing Obsessed, sorry, on corner X. Those two fighting for his P7 as JB going to try and establish an advantage over those two. Both cars have DRS on the race towards turn 2. As they go make their move here, Obsessed will have Alvar wrap his chuff, and I thought I saw a bit of a slide there from Mercedes, but not to be.
Awfully close to the back of that Merc.
It's all very tense right now in the mid-pack. So carry on here, going in through turn 5. JB holding on to P6. I'm sure very pleased with how things are going as it stands right now. And who can blame him? These are good points to be scoring. But things looking quite good for at least one side of the RB garage. Obviously, the other one has got a car out of the Grand Prix. That's 10th. So there'll still be fights to be decided next week, Ben, which is going to be entertaining for us. And obviously still the prospect of one more race win to contest in Season 20. As we obviously near the end of the game cycle with these cars. And it's been a fantastic game cycle, hasn't it, Ben? These cars have been fantastic to watch out on the track. And also for you to drive for a bit, because you drove last season.
Yeah, they were. I'm not going to go off my general opinion. I think as the game's gone on, I think it's gotten harder to overtake. People have started learning where you're more than likely gaining time with your overtake here and there. You conserve tyres here, there, everywhere. So I think it's naturally just gotten harder to overtake, and then obviously dirty air as well plays a massive part into things. So I think the game's been made a lot more realistic compared to what it used to be way back on 24, where you used to literally swing the car left to right.
The was it called flicking? Is the term?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, yeah, there's been a fair bit less now over the course of the season. Obviously, I think a game where smooth steering is sort of like almost has to be a bow that's tied to your your arsenal of mastery. You know, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, a game where sort of the smooth control is a benefit to the driver as opposed to just sort of going a bit haywire with the flicking. I think that's definitely positive for the game going forward.
Yeah.
Half up the inside of Pope there into turn 1. We're at lap 26 now in this Grand Prix. We're sort of 10 laps out from halfway now.
Oh, Curtis.
It's Curtis in
Banging
P5.
wheels with 80.
Still to here. That chase carries on. Word in from one Daniel Aaron, who will be, I think, joining us hopefully returning next week for the reverse finale. You still feel like a lot more unusual in this game too, to be fair. So there is obviously expert analysis from an RDL race winner and your runner-up in the championship, and it's confirmed now at this late stage of the season. So congratulations to Dan on that front, especially for quali. That's the other thing. I mean, it's good to know, Dan, you're keeping up with the streams in your downtime for the time being. Obviously, I hope you're enjoying the race. But I'm sure you'd much rather be in this one, given that Grumio is out of it. So obviously, an open opportunity for a race victory.
But this way, that could have happened earlier on in the season when he actually had a chance to find for Dial.
I think just so you get to the Grumio dominance, and sometimes you do wish that would happen. But you know, you can't fault Grumio. He's a fantastic driver, and obviously well deserving of the title this season.
Yeah,
they've both been fantastic. I mean, Grumio's won 4 of the last 7. Dan has got two of those other victories, and Hope holds the other one. So they're sort of.
I think Dan's also had a bit of no luck, particularly towards middle part of the season. I'd say his qualifying hasn't really been the best, and he's had to work his way through. And then
Obsessed on the outside here. Sorry, Ben, to cut you off, but it's just a fantastic pass there from Obsessed. Where'd that come from?
Had to try something different, and it worked to perfection.
Starting a bit through turns 3 and 4.
Well, you're like, is that Pope?
That might be Pope. Yes, it is. Pope's off the circuit. Recovering the car as 18 Curtis will now be bearing down on him.
We're going to start saying it's happened again.
Grumio disconnects from the session. Obviously, it's been a few laps since his retirement. Those of you who missed it, definitely an odd moment from Grumio. Obviously, big points for Obsessed. Obviously, he needs to try and keep the ship steady for Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship as they vie to sort of try and maintain 3rd place as best they can. As JB, again, equally close to Obsessed. And I should think that he'll want to try and sort of pull off that same move that the Mercedes did on him less than a lap ago.
Everyone's wide, though.
Challenging.
JB ran wide going through turn 13.
Awfully easy to do. As he'll have DRS on corner exit. We're on to lap 28 now. And JB close, and we're quite a big head of steam here. Down towards turn 2, but not close enough.
Yeah, nearly lost it. Just like wiggle going through turn 1. Alvar was the first driver to pick up a penalty. It's taken 28 laps to receive off first 3-second penalty.
Well, there we go then. That's for multiple warnings. So track limits finally Track Rabbit's finally playing a part in tonight's race, making it to the usual weekly appearance. You see Cook trying to challenge JB, but to no avail for the time being. JB hangs on to P7, at least for the time being. Imri's got all to himself up front here. He's now 4.6, 4.4, 4.6, 4.7 in front. He's gained a few tenths there on this lap alone, as Huff now still sits in second place by himself. Pope in third place, AT in fourth. AT but less than a second behind Pope, and Curtis has been hounding him for at least the last sort of 3 or 4 laps at the minimum. And you wonder when Curtis might try and make a move, as obviously he needs to gain points on 10th Cannon. As it stands, he's gaining 12 of them, and that will put him just 9 behind going into the final race. So that'll be something to watch, Ben. If things stay as they are, it'll be 9 points separating 10th TJ and Curtis going into the reverse group finale in Austria. And we'll get the qualifying order for that late, I think either later in the week or early on Monday. So it'll be interesting to see sort of where everyone lines up based on performance over the course of the season. Obviously, we'll see the usual contenders at the back. So obviously the Grumios, the Imris, the Popes, the Chays, the Dans, the ATs. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, it'll be interesting to see sort of who stacks up where going into turn 1.
Yeah, it will be a massive list there. We've got a bit of a... Well, we are going to have a mixed up grid. We are going to have the drivers who aren't expected to be at the front, towards the front of the grid. So let's see.
Obviously, as mentioned previously, you've got history of those reverse group finales. You've got a podium out of it, season 17 in Portugal. Yeah, I mean, given the opportunity up front, what was the? Do you have any memories of that race?
Yeah, I led the race after Dan, I think, made a mistake. Me and Dan were fighting quite a bit towards the front while the top few drivers were closing in eventually, albeit got stuck in the traffic, so that kind of helped. Dan made a slight error, I think, going through up the hill in the middle of sector 2. He went off, I took the lead, and to be honest with you, I should have won that race and got frustrated. That's what cost me that race out.
So I suppose the word we'll ask not be to sort of temper the frustrations going forward.
Yeah, I think I got frustrated for a few different reasons. I think there was one in particular which I don't agree with to this day. I think.
Just saw Curtis go wide there. I don't know if you saw that.
Go on. I did not see that. No. Yeah, there were a few decisions that I didn't agree with from the other drivers, so I'll put it that way. That being said, though, it was a good race.
Fair enough. I mean, obviously, it was always good to have the memories in that sense, the better performances. As I said, Curtis went wide a couple of corners ago, leaving turn 8, but recovered the car and was fortunate not to go around. Obviously, we've seen drivers take to the grass just a little bit, and it sort of throws in the complete opposite end of the spectrum. So we're hoping we don't see a bit less of that. As in comes PJ. Finally, everyone has now made a pit stop in this Grand Prix. So PJ's been on those hard tyres for the first 30 laps here, and I wonder if he's going to do the same thing again. Yeah, I'm thinking he's going to try and do two stints on the hards to start us off. So we need to make at least one more stop, unless we get rain, in which case that will change. But yeah, I'm thinking PJ will be going likely hard. And if he can, soft tyres, and then if not, mediums.
Yeah, if the rain comes down, it'll be intermediate. So I think this track does not take the water that well. It ends up building up quite quickly, so we could see a switch over. That being said, I've seen a few crowds overhead, but nothing really to no avail.
Do we know if there's any sort of rain coming in this Grand Prix, Ben? Is there any knowledge?
I do not know. That being said, I'll keep an eye out, as it looks like Curtis and AT are going to have yet another scrap going into 1 and 2.
Keep an eye on these two then, as the way out of turn 14. We're going on to lap 32 now, this Dutch Grand Prix, nearing that halfway stage as they make the way towards turn 1 again. A good run here from Curtis. Going to go to the outside into turn 1. We'll see if he gets himself a better drive going through. Leaves the battery alone.
Parks the car in the best place, but he's now vulnerable to the switchback.
Try it on the outside there. Nothing doing for now.
Good defending.
Good defending from AT. Yes, you're very right there, Ben. And DRS in play again of Curtis. No, it's not done just yet. It's a short DRS straight, and your momentum leaving the corner isn't fantastic, but clearly we've seen drivers make use of it. As you see again, AT washed up a little bit, goes wide off his line, allows Curtis in around the outside, And sort of the inside line here, these two are dead even, but the car on the inside tends to win out. But we'll see here, a tap to the back end, as these two still continue on this merry chase, and AT hangs onto it for another lap. And Curtis trying desperately to get around him. But we see a send here going into turn 12. There's the outside. They're going to draw dead even.
Got to be
into the
something
right-hander.
different.
And on corner exit, it's Curtis who still stays behind. But might go for it again around the outside. It's very, very tight between these two. And on corner exit, Curtis trying. That's a full lap, Ben, of these two going toe-to-toe. Fantastic racing. It's not done yet.
It's not over yet as he goes into turn 1. Will AT be able to defend this? I don't think he will.
It's going to be close this time. Curtis close on the outside of AT. Backs off it, but loses momentum on corner exit. And that means AT hangs onto it just for a bit longer. But this battle rages on here. And the more these two fight, the more chance there is of Obsessed, JB, and Cook trying to close the gap, which is now at 5.9 seconds.
These three obviously will be able to tell that Curtis and AT are fighting. So instead of fighting each other, they've got to work with each other.
So the term in racing that you hear often, at least in F1 circles, but you hear a lot in NASCAR circles, co-opetition, where you cooperate with your competition. The sort of thing we're looking at here is sort of this little train that will try and close the gap up to these two as they continue to scurry up and fight for position. This constant scuffle for what is 4th place on the road. And in front of them, it's obviously it's all clear tracks ahead. For Pope is obviously 6 seconds in front of these guys. It's then 4.4 to Huff in P2, and another 4.5 to Imrie in P1, who's still on those medium tyres. He's been on them for 20 laps now. And I'm wondering, Ben, exactly how long Imrie will go before he switches on to what I'm guessing will be a set of hard tyres to end the Grand Prix. Because I can't see him making 3 stops in this race. I can see him making 2, but I can't see him making 3 unless he has to.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think everybody now, because of the safety car, will be on a 2-stopper. We'll have to stop again at some point. I'm looking towards the midfield. The hard tyres on 23 laps already, so you've got to stop again at some point. You won't be able to take them towards the end of the race. Whether it's a case of the hard tyres or the mediums, could work for anyone really.
I mean, Imrie's got his free choice, given that he obviously uses he uses 2 different tyre compounds. There's one set of soft, one set of mediums. So he made those softs work for a bit longer prior to that first safety car. I see big look from Huff there as he chases him. He's 4.7 back. A big huff of smoke as he goes in through turn 12. Pope behind him and still just trying to chase that gap down. AT is still fending off Curtis, and it's back to 6.2 seconds the gap between Curtis and Obsessed as JB now goes to the inside though. And maybe a bit of contact going in. JB up the inside and a slide from Obsessed, trying to get back underneath the RB, but couldn't do it. JB now in P6 once again. That'll be 10 points going his way as it stands right now. Obsessed may try and pull him back as they go in through turn 14 and Cook behind them, waiting for any scraps to try and pick up on corner exit.
Looks like Obsessed and Heat Speed Cook do have a lot more EOS to play around with. Obsessed right the way around the outside.
He did it earlier. Can he try to do it again? Maybe. Not quite. And there's less room to switch back there. He's going to try the JB defends the inside. And I thought
again
wide there, and may try and go slow and fast out on corner exit. Both cars try to keep him from sliding. Huff's in P2, but I'm talking about HB Cook, who's going from potentially into turn 5. Thinks better of it, stays in line for the time being, but Obsessed is right on JB's tail here and is unwilling to go away.
These three, should I say? Sorry, it's
flags out.
Curtis
around. Curtis recovers the car. But he's ended up falling behind all 3 of these guys. He's going to join this train here. 4-car train chasing will now be 4th place. AT gets a bit of room to breathe, at least for the time being, as HB Cook's on as well.
Yeah, he got an illegal overtake on Curtis. Which
oh, you're kidding.
That has got to be really painful because he was up there with JB and Obsessed, but it's been cost dearly due to the game.
And, well, it's not the sort of thing that we wish they could patch in the DLC. We certainly wish, not something they can add to the DLC, we certainly wish it gets patched at some point, like doing that, but you never really know the race control in this game. As Obsessed is getting with a big head of steam here on JB, around the outside, and you got too close for comfort there, going through turns 1 and 2, but there he goes, and makes the pass, P5, back in Obsessed hands once again. It's about 8 seconds up to AT in 4th place, but I think Obsessed's big priority now will be trying to check out and pull away from JB, while Curtis sits behind him 1.5 back, and HB Cook in 8th place. So these two have now pulled away to a decent advantage and can use it to their benefit and try and pull away.
Yeah, I'm just looking up towards the front of the field because the top three, let's be honest, have been kept fairly quiet for a short while now. Imre's still eking out the gap, which is exactly what he needs to do, and I'd like to think he'll be on another set of hard tyres. That being said, though, he took the soft, 13 laps, if I'm not mistaken.
13, yes.
So, who knows? Maybe Imre can do another 18 laps on these. No, 18 is too ambitious. Maybe another 8 laps or so before we see him go into the pits.
We're now exactly halfway through the Dutch Grand Prix. Imre goes wide there, recovers the car, but will lose probably a fair few tenths to Huff. But obviously Huff's not as big a concern Pope is, and Pope currently sits 8.9 behind. And Imre, it was 5 points back from Pope going into this race. If Pope finishes second, it's again Obsessed and JB going at it. Obsessed wins out once again on this occasion, but JB's going to be right behind him. As I'm saying with Imre and Pope, if these two finish first and second with Imre winning the race, that'll put them separated by just 2 points going into the finale. 2 points in favour of Imre with a round to play in. As Courtney Goblin out to pit lane onto a set of soft tyres here. Courtney going for something a bit more aggressive. And coming out in front of Alvar, crucially. Obviously, this is the fight for the points of Ferrari's try and close the gap. As Imre's out!
Oh, no, Imre!
And what's happened to him? He's gone off there at turn 12. And a big mistake and a golden chance at victory taken as the second time in this Grand Prix. Two of the big contenders wiped out of their own volition. Half in the pit lane, Pope will join him, and all of a sudden it's Williams territory here at Zandvoort. Grumio out, Imre out as well.
Told you this race was going to be chaotic and absolute corker. It's proven out to be.
And this will change everything as arguably our front runners are now wiped out completely. And Imre's wheel cutout is what we're saying. Imre's got a new wheel today. That's another thing. He's running the Club Sport Formula V3 wheel for those sort of technical fans out there. But it's just cut out completely. Well, there we go then. If that is the case, then tough break for Imre. But that's now what that has done now is condensed the field completely. And again, everyone in the top 10 will score as an easy win for Imre. Has been taken from completely by the machinery.
Yeah, we've got a mixture of tyre strategies as well. A couple on the softs. I'm looking at Curtis. I personally don't understand why you go on a set of soft compound tyres unless you've got no other tyres to use. Brand new, but PJ has stayed out and he's the only driver bar Alvar.
I think he's still trying to make the two-stop hard, and likely soft work if he can. I think this safety car will give him a better chance to do just that. Obsessed is currently running in the 4th spot. And if I double check the Hall of Fame here for us, Ben, because this could be big. As far as I know, Obsessed's best finish in the RDL, if I double check here, checking on the Hall of Fame, Obsessed 63 starts. His best finish is 6th. He's finished there 3 times. He's currently in 4th place on track, but in terms of full-time drivers, he's up to 3rd. And I don't want to jump
so far from Obsessed.
I don't want to jump the gun just yet, Ben, but you never know. Zandvoort has done stranger things.
Strange things can happen, but let's keep expectations low. That's how mistakes happen. Once you rise up your expectations, you expect to be fighting towards the front of the grid, and then you make errors. So let's see what Obsessed can do. But Obsessed has definitely got the pace in the night.
And looking at it here, I mean, you think of the impact that Imre's retirement now has just had on the Drivers' Championship. We're hoping that Pope goes out as well. Because that'll, as it stands right now, Pope is first among full-time drivers. That'll put him over a race win clear of Imre, and that will lock him up for 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship. If Pope can win the race, then that'll do it. If Pope finishes 2nd, then Imre with the win and Pope failing to score in Austria next week can still take away 3rd. But if Pope wins this race, takes his 2nd win from 4 races in his 2nd of the season, he can lock up 3rd place in the driver standings. So there's his incentive. AT has, as memory serves, I don't believe he stood on the podium all. I think he stood on the podium earlier this season. I have to double check on that, but I mean, big chance for him to try and get some big points for Haas. Obviously, he's their prime scorer at the minute. He can't get really get himself. It'd take a lot for him to get into that fight with Curtis, TJ, and 10th. In fact, I don't think he can finish in P6 point. The highest he can finish is probably, realistically, P8. Up place over Curtis. A safety car coming in this lap. Got any Goblin rejoin with the tail end of the field. So 10 cars left to go here, Ben. And now with both Grumio and Imri out, anyone's getting ATP2 in Australia. There we go. Yes, 1-2. Good memory, Dan. Yeah, and I know you remember Australia a bit bitterly, given how things ended for you that day. But Huff will lead into the restart. Huff, for the first time as far as I remember, leading an RDL Grand Prix. Pope in second place, and AT being cheered on by the chat here as they get back to racing once again here on lap number 40. There's still a fair few laps to go in this Grand Prix. There's 31 laps to go. There's AT going for it immediately on Pope there and challenging for the race lead into turn 2 between full-time drivers into the race for the top spot. Pope in front on corner exit. Into the braking zone they go, and AT hanging on to it, but a bit of contact there as Huff tries to pull away now. He's got the reserves, got it all to himself, and going to try and become the second reserve to win a race this season if he can get himself a decent enough advantage.
Yeah, let's have a few fires going. Down the inside goes Curtis on those soft compound tyres, baits move stick quite easily, to be fair. JB4 slightly off wide, but comes back at him through turn 6, sorry.
Quite tight and a bit of contact on corner exit, not to mention, but Curtis gets in front as they go in through turn 6, through turn 7, into turn 8 now. Very, very close quarters here on this restart, as up front, it's no one's really pulled away to anything DRS-wise. It's Huff from Pope, then AT, Obsessed down to 4th place now. Sorry, still in 4th place, but obviously still 3rd among the full-timers. As PJ will also be seeking a podium. There's a podium chance and a win chance for a number of drivers here who wouldn't really be in that position, but with Grumio and Imri both out and Huff reserving leading the way, it's big for him. As PJ, who was down the order early on the Grand Prix, now running in P5, challenging Curtis' position, as Curtis on those soft tyres on the inside maintains 5th place through turn 1. But PJ might come back at him with a good enough run. Not for the time being. Curtis and those soft tyres doing the job. As Obsessed on the outside now. Challenging AT. It's close here, Ben. Caught that curb, though. And Cook passing JB. They're so side by side for 7th place to go up towards turn 5 again. Dead even, wheel to wheel here. Neither one of them giving an inch. Medium tyres and that RB hards in the Salbros. There's a slide there for a second from JB. There was contact as Cook squeezed a little bit.
Curtis.
Curtis off. Curtis on the gravel. What happened there, Ben? Was there contact? Do you see it?
Yeah, contact between the Mercedes and the Red Bull. Just forced Red Bull slightly onto the grass and round it goes.
So Obsessed carries on as he was down there in 4th place, but Curtis down the order to P10 here. On soft tyres, that might cost him a fair bit. He's going to use those to try and get himself back towards the rest of the pack. But Huff leading Pope, and Pope closing in on his reserve teammate. And I'm sure not one to be outshone in front of his team, in front of the Grove faithful. As we begin lap 42 now, they're coming towards the final 30 laps of this Dutch Grand Prix. It's now anyone's race, but I'm thinking these two Williams cars, it won't surprise me at all if one of them came to the flag first today.
Yeah, same here. It looks like Obsessed going to try again on 80.
Nothing doing for the time being. It's still running right there behind the Haas as they go in through turn 4. And keep an eye on these two because things will get very, very spicy indeed. This is a podium that both of them on the podium right now, but this is second place in terms of point scores they're fighting for. And with Sauber, one of the Saubers in the lead and down the order. And as it stands, Cook scoring 10 points for the team. Obsessed scoring 15. So that's going to bring the gap in a little bit in for Mercedes, who are currently 11 points behind. They'll be 6 points back going into the final race if things stay as they are. And Obsessed knows what's at stake here in terms of racing for that constructorless run. In 3rd place, he's got a good run on 18 now. They'll run a bit wide. They're going through turn 10 into 11 now, keeping the car nice and steady and towards 12. And there goes PJ to be defending from Cook as he goes around the outside, attempting it through turn 12, in through 13. The Sauber draws alongside, and the Alpine almost off over the curve onto the grass there. So move HB Cook into P5 as he hunts a podium finish himself off the last corner. Hasn't taken the podium since Vegas last season, if memory serves. As they make their way down towards turn 1 again. We're on lap 43. It's Pope around the outside. Half up in the wall. Half on the outside there. Off in the gravel completely. Recovers the car. But what just happened to the reserve there? Pope in front by almost 2 seconds.
That's brought AT back into the equation for now for 2nd place. What will be 2nd place on track.
Indeed, indeed. As Pope now sits 1.5 clear. And this is what he wanted. I think, if anything, what happened to Huff there? Just the car is just sort of, he must have just caught the outside wall and just scraped himself along it the entirety of the way. Obsessed is still challenging AT. Is still refusing to let that Haas go.
AT is proven to be the mastermind of defending.
Sergio Perez would be proud. AT serving himself as one tough customer in that Haas and a difficult man to overtake on the circuit right now as Obsessed closes that gap, or tries to close the gap. Yellow flag behind him as Curtis off again. Oh, Curtis off the track completely.
Oh,
safety car comes out again.
Is that another virtual or is it full course?
Full safety car, Ben. Full safety car.
Oh, I told you that was going to be chaos. It's proving out to be.
Oh, look, safety cars breed safety cars at certain circuits, mate.
Pits.
As Huff in the pit lane, and he is the only one pitting. I think, yes, down to 9 cars now then in this race. And I start to wonder about how many cars we're going to have to talk about by the end of the Grand Prix. That would be the concern. But we are now within the final 30 laps. There's 28 to go to be exact. And Pope was building a steady lead, but has now fallen. No, now had that reeled back in again. As AT's going to sit behind him. And with Huff down in P9, that makes things a bit easier here in terms of navigating the top 8 to be scoring points full time. As Curtis, unfortunately, goes out of the Grand Prix. Pope asking Huff if he may have clipped him going through something. Was there contact between those two perhaps? Was that the trouble maybe? That was something to keep an eye out for.
It could well be something to keep an eye out for indeed, but is Huff the type of driver to report his full-time teammate in the Williams? Remains to be seen.
I mean, technically Huff has no teammates. He is a reserve by that matter.
I'm sure you got what I was saying.
Do I, sorry?
I'm sure you got what I was saying, though.
Yeah, no.
You know what I meant.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's temporary teammate. Temp mate. There'll be terms for it. We can figure it out. Yeah, so, I mean, I think this could be quite a short safety car here, because, I mean, Curtis is out, the thing's been recovered, and Huff is pitted, and he's sort of back in the field quite quickly here, so I think we're about to get back on the way at great expense to my throat, because it's starting to go a little bit here. And I hope safety cars can form more laps so I can breathe easy for a minute. And we just sort of take everything in here, Ben, because we've seen 5 retirements from this Grand Prix. We've now got a good troop of drivers, majority of which haven't stood on the podium all season. And I can make a case for any of them, realistically. And honestly, who knows, if Pope goes out, I think you can make a case for anyone winning the race.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd have to agree. This race has been really good up until this point. We're still got another 20-something laps ahead of us. I really can't be bothered doing the maths. But yeah, this is looking really good. Really mixed up grid. Anyone's chance of a podium or even victory at this case. Because Pope's had a few moments this race as well.
Well, there'll be 27 laps to go exactly when they cross the line. Pope leading from 18 second and Obsessed in a podium position in 3rd. HB Cook will be sensing one for him as well. PJ P5, that could be big for Alpine. I mean, they can't close much on Aston Martin at this point. Obviously, DJ's out of the race, but Alpine are 40 points back. They'd need both cars realistically in this race. He'd need the assistance of Ethan in the field to try and close that gap down. So I'm thinking Aston Martin will be nearly locked in 7th position. I mean, at this point, a 1-2 for Alpine in front of Aston would still seal them that place, but I have to wait and see until the next week. But realistically, I'm thinking that Aston have P7 wrapped up. Safety car in this lap. And I'll say this as well, Alvar is still up here in the field here, but he's got a penalty, let's not forget. He's the only car with a penalty from his first 45 laps, and Courtney Goblin is right behind him. So, if Courtney can hang on somehow, Ben, is there a chance that Ferrari can try and gain some points on their Woking colleagues?
Yes.
Well, that is a brief one-word answer. But, you know what? It's all the answer we need at this stage of the Grand Prix. Anything could happen, and everything has happened so far. It's going to be it's going to be a mad one here as we come towards the green flag once again. And Pope's going to need a good restart here to confirm himself as the de facto leader. Because AT will be coming at him on the charge and the restart. Both. Oh, and a shut there on corner exit. And I think AT might have just caught Obsessed napping there. But to go towards turn 1 again. Green flag back out. We're on lap 46 now of this Grand Prix. 26 laps to go. Next time by. AT to the outside, trying it. Couldn't make a fantastic move, but Obsessed will probably be a bit more upset with AT given how that restart transpired.
There's 80 runs wide going for
contact!
Oh, the slight tap.
Close. Both cars keeping their foot in it, keeping their feet on the loud pedal there, but Pope has had a dream restart. Now sits almost a second clear, and I think once he gets into that DRS range, he'll put his head down and focus on building a lead and hope there'll be no more safety cars for him in this race. But you never know, given how easy it has been for sort of one-car spins to happen in this Grand Prix, given how close quarters the rest of the pack have been, it could go anyone's way.
It could easily 100%. Meanwhile, it looks like Pope has broken away from that 1 second, and we've got a fire on for second.
Obsessed continues on his charge. He's going to try and get to AT as best he can. And as it stands, it's 15 points going Mercedes' way. So but 12 points for Sauber. So only a 3-point gain, which means that it's 8 points between these two teams come the final round next week. So Obsessed needs to get his skates on or hope that Cook falls back. But I don't think he can rely on the Sauber falling behind, given how few cars there are left in this race. So Huff is still down here, tail end of the field. DRS in play next time round when they get out of turn number 5. Sorry, they're out of turn 4, sorry. And Obsessed is going to get back at AT as fast as he can. You see him sort of pull close there, Ben, going in through turn 3, and then through 4 loses the gap a little bit. And AT's got DRS back, so he's closed the gap in on Pope a bit more.
Yeah, as AT has pushed quite hard just to try and reclaim that DRS. Maybe he's not going to get it for the foreseeable future, as he's already lost it. He's out of the 1 second again.
But I'm thinking that there will likely be parts of the circuit where AT is stronger than Pope, otherwise House would have gained that time back. As see Alvar and Courtney Huff going at it in through turn number 8. Alvar comes out ahead of both of them, and Huff forward pushing in front of Courtney. They're side by side here. So they go out through turns 9 and 10, to 11, now through 12, into the braking zone. And both of them holding steady here. Oh, contact! And Courtney runs to the side of Huff there, and Huff through the grass. I think may have been called for an illegal overtake potentially. And Huff into the pit lane. Pope says fastest lap. And Huff going in. And 10 seconds, I think he's done. Yep, there it is. Huff out.
Down to 8.
Down to 8 then. And we've lost almost half the field in this Grand Prix. Huff retires from his own volition. And the race continues on as we are. Pope still trying to break clear of DRS, but can't do it just yet. It's, again, as I said, Ben, you see AT close the gap in a bit more in the sort of the third sector and the start of the lap. In those first couple of corners, uses the battery and goes full charge. But there we go, then Huff out. And now everyone who is still in the race is full time and will be scoring points should they see the flag. And as it stands at the minute, it's still Pope's day. AT has been behind in second place. Obsessed is in third. HB Cook fourth. PJ fifth. JB sixth. Alvar seventh. And Courtney Goblin in eighth place. Look at that. 8 different manufacturers, Ben. All separate. And all 8 separate constructors. And all of them gunning for victory.
Indeed. Anyone could win this race.
I think things open a bit more if Pope falls down the order for whatever reason. But hopefully, we won't wish anything on any drivers. Hopefully he sort of sees this thing out, at least for his own sake, as he looks for his second win of the season. HB Cook fastest lap there, and that might mean that the Sauber is going to join the party a bit more here as they make their way in through turns 1 and 2. Once again, PJ in control of P5. Courtney and Alvar side by side as they run Courtney Alvar off to the grass bit there, recovers the car, but falls back behind Courtney. So Courtney needs P7 here. That'll be a few points gained for Ferrari as it stands. That's just 2 points gained, so that'll bring the get down to just 9 points between them, which is still quite close, given that these guys are most likely to be starting up front next week.
Every point matters.
That indeed. Every twist and turn is critical for the Constructors' Championship at this stage, with so little time left in the season. As Obsessed continues to chase 80. 80's opened up a little bit more now. He's about half a second clear of Obsessed. And I'm thinking, Ben, I'm wondering if there's going to be perhaps one more pistol in this race as Courtney goes for a slide there and recovers the car. But no damage done. He's okay. Just. No end plate missing. Green flag back out. But both these two are now by themselves. And Alvar is going to try and build a 3-second gap to Courtney to prevent the Ferrari from beating him in today's race.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a battle here. Maybe on for third. His Obsessed tyres finally starting to die off. Are they going to last till the end of the race? It's a bit of an ask.
I'm also wondering if the hard tyres will last towards the end of the race. I mean, Pope's been on his for 12 laps. Alvar's been on his for 17. PJ for 19. PJ I think still trying that 2-stop, going from hard, medium. He's got to make those things last another 10 laps to make that work. You never know. I should think he'll do it, but I think from there, he'll need to take another stop.
Yeah, so I'd have to agree. I think those are on 12-lap-old hards, like your Pope, AT, Cook. They should all be able to make it to the end of the race, albeit we'll start to suffer with a bit of tyre wear here and there.
I'm sure they wouldn't say no to one last safety car. And I think, honestly, if we get one more, Everyone's got to pit. Oh, challenge there. As Cook goes for it. Yeah, good eye, Ben. Sorry, I thought I sort of cut you off there, but Obsessed here defending from Cook.
All good. Yeah. Cook had a run on Obsessed, and that's why he was so far alongside, but just shutting the door.
Well, let's see if he gets the second one here. Obviously, a bit of a DRS train here. Pope now 1.7 in front. So he's starting to open a gap himself now. AT still in second. He's holding on to things quite steadily here. Looking for that first podium since the Australian Grand Prix at round 1. In the same way that Obsessed a few weeks ago in Abu Dhabi scored his first points since Australia in round 1 of this season. Got 8 of them in Abu Dhabi 2 weeks ago. I'm sure he'd love to add a podium to that repertoire as well. Looking for his first one in the RDL. And obviously big gains for him and Mercedes. They can obviously squeeze a few points on Sauber. They were looking over their shoulders and hoping that HB Cook can try and perhaps PJ can try and get involved and try and pass Cook. And JB too, that'll make their life a bit easier. And I know Dan's watching on right now, sort of backing his teammate for a podium finish if he can pull it off. Be very impressed if he can do that. It's been a race of attrition this, and there's still just over 20 laps to go, but Pope's in control by almost 2 seconds now as AT leads Obsessed towards the last few corners again.
I feel we're just going to see a DRS train until something else happens in this race. No matter when, not if.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, yeah, you're right. I can see it carrying on, at least for the time being. But I wonder perhaps if PJ and JB may fall off the back end of the train a little bit here. As you can see, sort of Cook, Obsessed, AT put up sort of similar numbers pace-wise. But these two look to be slipping away just a little bit. But the more they fight each other, the more that will allow the Alpine and the RB back into the equation once again here as they make their way in towards turn 5. And as it stands, it's still Pope in control. And AT trying to pull away, but not making much progress here as they continue on into the second sector.
Yeah, we'll see if anyone makes any silly errors. Fatigue is going to play a factor now. Tell you what, these drivers have done 52 laps, so credit to all of them for just holding their standards to a really good state, I'll say. But we're still got another 20 or so laps ahead of us.
Still plenty of time to settle things here at Zandvoort, and anything could happen in these closing laps as we continue on charging forward here. Pope now 2.8 to the good. He's inside the final 20 laps of this Dutch Grand Prix now onto lap 53. AT behind him looking for anything he can try and pull some time on both the cars in front, or the lone car in front, and the train behind him. Now 4 cars deep as Obsessed continues to try and defend from HB Cook himself. PJ and JB consistently hunting the pair of them down, and obviously Alvar and Cottony still in their constant chase. Alvar is still only 1.8 in front of Cottony. Around he goes! Yellow flag out as Alvar spins the car, loses his front wing, recovers it, carries on again. But that might be the twist in the tail that puts McLaren a few points close, Ferrari a few points closer to McLaren going into next week's race in Austria. Cottony Goblin looks to have P7 outright. Alvar needs to gain 8 seconds on Cottony's catching, and even then he's got to gain another 3. So 11 seconds pace is required out of Alvar to beat Cottony in the Dutch Grand Prix. I hope that Cottony makes some sort of error.
Yep, and we can maybe expect another pit stop as well in this race, so who knows, all being well, Cottony could finish at the top 5.
You never know, but he's about 10 seconds back here from JB and PJ, so a safety car would definitely bring him back into the matter, and I'm sure that Pope would not be wanting a safety car now. He's got a steady 2.5 second lead, and I can see him maintaining that over these last sort of 18 laps or so in this Grand Prix. AT still hanging on to second place, doing a fantastic job right now, and not really having to fend off any challenges for the time being. He's still doing just fine for the moment as Obsessed slides a bit there, slides up in front of HB Cook in through turns 3 and 4, recovers the car and carries on again. Medium tyres for those for 16 laps, same thing for JB. Cottony Goblin has been on his for 15, and Alvar now pitting. And that's going to, obviously, these are all points for him, so he's going to want these points in the latter stage of the season. And front wing being changed for Alvar. He's on to 10-lap old medium tyres, so my guess is he's going to try and run the last 18 laps to the flag. But I wonder if he may run into problems late on.
He should be fine, all being well.
HB Cook challenging Obsessed now, making this move to the inside. This is to fight for the podium places as they go in through turn 12. HP Cook pulls alongside on corner exit. Obsessed has got the inside line for turn 13, so recovers himself. And all this allowing AT to pull away a little bit here. He's almost out of DRS range completely, is the Haas. Pope fast as that. Pope is on it now. 3.5 seconds to the good over the Haas in second place. And here we go now. HP Cook again closing on Obsessed. But shouldn't think he'll go for a move here through turns 1 and 2. Not close enough.
Yeah, just a bit of a side note, they are actually slightly braking for the first left-hander. Is Cook going to go for it? No, albeit Obsessed is going to run a bit wide, going for a way. The only reason why Obsessed is able to hold on to position from going so far wide is because Obsessed has got DRS on AT.
But it's pivotal now that Obsessed doesn't lose that, and he's come closer and closer to it each time HP Cook closes that gap in, because the more these two go side by side through sort of like the tighter corners like turns 12, 13, and 14, the more they go side by side through there, the more chance there is that AT pulls away and gets out of DRS range, so it gets out of dodge completely. As HP Cook again closes the gap, but not close to this time to go for a move on the Mercedes. Unless he goes for a send, which he won't. But he might try and get a better exit out of turn 12, but nothing doing for the time being. That's
the second.
As that's going on there, it's close there, Ben. You can see it just sort of trickling in and out of range. And yes, no DRS for Obsessed this time. Here comes HP Cook now to the inside. His chance has come, and the Sauber clears the Mercedes in through turn 1. Up into the podium places and Obsessed now has got to get back around the Sauber sooner rather than later. But HP Cook, we'll be hoping that Cook can sort of tow him along, catch back up to AT, and get the whole thing going again.
We'll see.
Pope now 3.7 in front. They've got 16 laps to go when he next crosses the line, and on course for his second win of the season as things stand right now. Anything could still change. Obviously, we've seen several leaders of this Grand Prix already go falling down the order at different parts of the circuit for different reasons. And as it stands right now, we've got 5 drivers I'm sure would love to duke it out for the win themselves if Pope was to have some sort of late problem in this Grand Prix. He'll be hoping, given how much of a lead he's got, that he doesn't. But things can change like that, like the snap of 2 fingers. But right now, the here and now is that Pope is in complete control here, and is just 16 laps away from win number 2 of season 20.
Yep, I like to think it's only a matter of time before HP Cook does overtake AT. He's already gained half a second on the Haas driver.
So the gap closing up here. Obsessed has fallen. Yeah, Obsessed has fallen away here. He's almost out of DRS range completely.
Dead.
Yeah, the medium's going to start going here. PJ may well take advantage too. PJ's tyres, I think he'll need to stop again as well. These guys, the top 3, I think will. I'm starting to agree with you, Ben. They might likely be all right. Obviously, the safety cars we've had are going to help their case big time here. As HP Cook will be gunning for that second spot, I should think. And has he got the pace to try and upset things up front? Sauber are going to open up their gap a bit more now over Mercedes. That gap's going to stretch now to 14 points in the standings, unless Cook can take AT, in which case it will stretch to. I've left my maths at home.
17?
17, yes, good. At least one of us is on at this stage of the Grand Prix. See, it's not just drivers that get fatigue, it's us as well.
Yes, I would agree with you 100% without a shadow of a doubt.
So we continue on then as we are, and HP Cook is going to be on that tail of Obsessed, and we've seen how lethal he is with DRS. Both cars have got battery to use here, and both cars bashing the overtake as they make their way out of the last corner. Obsessed, same thing. He was still in DRS range that time round, but PJ has not quite closed in as much as we thought he might. So still quite way back from Obsessed. But AT hanging on second place, as he has done since that restart. And Pope is by himself, just keeping things nice and steady here. Doesn't need to do anything too brash. Just needs to bring the car home.
Yeah, no need to take any unnecessary risk. Got the fastest lap. Not that it really counts for anything. It's going to look for a move around the outside, maybe just switch it back towards the inside. Is it going to work?
He's there. Around the outside through turn 6 and into 7. AT emerges in front. Both cars back off a bit there. And AT maintains that place again. What fantastic defensive driving it's been from him, Ben. It's been fantastic to watch.
Yep, exactly. We could yet see more action on track in the final 15 laps of this race.
Getting down towards the business end of it here. It's Pope Brown's turn 14 again for the 58th time in this Grand Prix. We are nearing the end of what's been a tumultuous race for a number of drivers. There'll be big scores for quite a fair few in the field here. JB, let's not forget, is actively chasing PJ in the Drivers' Championship. 1 point separating them going into this Grand Prix. And as it stands, it will be 3 points separating them.
That was a late change from AT.
Well, what did you see? Talk me through it. Talk us through it.
Just a slight little wiggle of the rear wing, put the keeps that off. Whether it's enough for a penalty, I don't think it is. But it was certainly just on the certainly on the borderline. Just like wiggle.
Yellow flags out. Alvar's out.
Yellow flag.
And safety car has come out, and that will bring it into question. And Cottony Goblin now is going to gain, provided he can just finish the Grand Prix, is going to gain a number of points here on McLaren for himself. That's going to be critical for Ferrari.
What happened to Alvar? Where did he go?
Didn't see it. I'm not entirely sure what happened. We'll see if he gives any word about it in the Discord chat, but he's just gone off, and that'll do it then. That'll bring everything into question now. Anyone could still perform in this race. And we'll see here, Pope in the pit lane. I think everyone pits now for fresh tyres. No one's going to try and go to the end now on a worn set. And that's going to make things so much more interesting, Ben. We're in for a barnstormer of a finish.
This is going to be one heck of a finish.
And again, 7 different constructors, no hold up in the pit lane. And we're looking at soft tyres for the majority of the field here. I think Seth's gone for mediums. I think the same thing for PJ. PJ's still doing his 2-stop. The things have worked out quite smoothly for him, for it to more or less do that same exact strategy that he was planning on doing. So there we go then. Pope out on circuit in first, AT second, Cook third, Obsessed fourth, PJ fifth, JB sixth, and Cottony will stay out.
Bizarre.
Perhaps not. Perhaps Cottony's plan is just to get to the end of the Grand Prix and take the points, because let's not forget, this is currently 6 points going their way, and that's going to bring the gap down to just 5 between McLaren and Ferrari. So a result here, if Cottony can just sort of ride around and just make it to the flag, that'd be big for the team. So perhaps Cottony playing a more patient game, not going aggressive and risking perhaps a damage or a penalty or a retirement himself, because this is locked on points if he makes it. But we've now got half the field still running in this race. Pope, AT, Cook, Obsessed, PJ, JB, Cottony.
This is going to be one heck of a finish as we race towards the checker flag. I'd like to think the safety car won't be out that long, maybe another lap. Other than that, we're back into pits and on the green flag, so we'll go again.
We always get sort of an exciting, like a really exciting end to a Grand Prix with this sort of scenario. It's sort of winding down the weeks before what is normally a new game. In this case, it's a DLC for a second cycle on this game. And as it stands right now, we're in for that finish. In comes Cottony. Cottony's in now. Okay, right. So, made a change then. It's Josh G. And we'll see him put on our tyres that are a lap fresher than anyone else's. As Alvar disconnects. Tough break for Alvar. But saying so, at least he contributed to another safety car. Hopefully a more exciting finish. So, Alvar, if that was the game plan, then obviously we appreciate your services on that front as commentators. But at the same time, we'd like to see you finish the Grand Prix. So, a bit gutting on both ends there. But we'll see if we get good enough finish.
Yeah, let's see. I'm sure we will though, because there is a mixture of tyres, a mixture of drivers. Let's see if anyone can make any dives to move. Fatigue will also play a massive factor in this now. Mistakes here and there. Who knows what could happen? Well, I should say at this point, I should think Pope is still the overwhelming favourite going into this late portion of the Grand Prix. 18, Cook and Obsessed. I mean, anyone behind you, you can make a case for any of them to pose some kind of threat, but I think if Pope can build an advantage from here, he should be set. But Ben, if you had to give me one driver to challenge Pope to win this race, who would it be and why? I'm saying Cook. He's looked really quick all race long.
Well, safety cars in this lap, so we're looking forward to finding out. Cook is the guess. Okay, I'm not going to make one because I'm always wrong and I end up damning someone. So I'm going to leave it out for the time being so that Ben gets the blame should that happen. But Pope leads 18 Cook onto the restart. I'm playing around, don't worry about it.
I know.
Yeah, there'll be 11 laps to go when they cross the line. And it's quite similar to how it was in Vegas with a lot less cars.
When we're hungry.
Different. That's one way of putting it, yeah. And obviously differing tyre strategies as well. 2 cars on mediums, which could play big into their hands towards the end. We could see an unlikely race winner, an unlikely podium finisher, or big change in the championship now. 11 laps to go, and the green flag is back out as Zandvoort. Pope leads them back to turn 1. It's all, every running car there under a blanket as they go towards the first corner.
Yep, no fights to start off, but there could well be a few scraps here and there towards the end of the race. It looks like we're going to have one massive trade to the finish.
Well, Pope's going to try and break away as soon as he can, and he's doing just that on corner exit out of turn 4. He's used a fair bit of his battery here. He's used up more than anyone else here on this race start. He's used about half his tank already. His AT's got plenty still to burn as they go in through the first couple of corners in Sector 2, in through turn 6. And Pope is going to try and build an advantage again and pull away sooner rather than later. He's up to 9 tenths already. AT's got to get his skates on and get him on fast to try and close that gap without risking himself too much in that sense to go in through turns 9, 10, and now 11 as he head towards the bank right-hander of 12 once again. Pope locking up there and AT closing the gap in. Both cars are still in range. AT, as you saw earlier in the race, Ben, still faster in the sort of second half of the lap compared to Pope. So that'll be what keeps him in DRS. And if he can keep himself in that range for the entirety of the last 10 laps here, we should be in for a cranker of a finish. A cranker? What does that even mean? I don't even know.
That's a very interesting word to use from that whole context there, Zach. So being an absolute stellar finisher.
Well, AT's closing the gap no matter what way you say it. Cook's still in third place. It's all single file here and just waiting for the first punch to be thrown here as they make their way out of turn 4. The race leader's once again in control. Cook is pulling away a bit more from Obsessed here. The soft tire runner's doing fantastically early on, but those things will start to wear out a bit faster, and that'll be where Obsessed and PJ can try and take advantage. They can keep themselves close. They can try and push in and get themselves really involved late on for a podium finish, perhaps. Points for everyone, provided they make the flag, and we'll see from here who does and who doesn't.
What tyre would you prefer to be on, Zach?
It's a toss-up because you think sort of there was 12 laps to go when we got back underway again, and the softs look tempting, but I wonder how long these guys will go pushing them all out before they start to fade away. So the mediums are the smart option, but at the same time, you don't know as to what could happen these last few laps because you could find yourself losing out to those cars with DRS, with the faster and equally fresh tyres. So, okay, I think honestly, if it's me, soft tyre, go for broke. Speaking of going for broke, AT's going for it.
AT gonna try? Oh.
He's there now. Now fight for the lead. Here comes AT to the outside. This is for P1, Ben, I remind you, as they go in through a bit of contact, a bit of wheel banging here through turns 3 and 4. That's going to bring Cook into the equation. DRS in play now, and everyone's back up together again. AT to the inside. It's close for contact, too close for comfort, as Pope gets a few nudges but holds on to his lead. And AT was up his chuff, but now is a few tenths back again. Pope needs a good exit to try and keep himself pulling away.
You've got to hold your nerve at this point. It's very easy to lose it.
It's one big chess game at this point, Ben, and AT is playing all of his bishops now to make this move, going to the inside now. This is for the race lead once again. For the second time this lap, AT makes the challenge up the inside. New race leader, AT on corner exit, pulls in front and leads for the first time this afternoon here at Zandvoort. And that brings Pope into the fray alongside everyone else here, chasing for the first time in quite a fair few laps this afternoon. And HB Cook on corner exit, looking for second place if he can get close enough. But Pope will come back at AT on the run towards the first corner as he seeks a first victory in quite some time. Pope going to try and challenge him into turn 1, into turn 2. Nothing doing for the time being. It's still these two running nose to tail as they come off turn 2.
It's going to be hammer and tongue towards the end, towards the checkered flag now. Can Pope retake the lead? Can the mistake creep in from the top 3 is we've had an overtake? It's that's got to be a boring way to say it. We've had an overtake.
We have an overtake. Well, it's boring, but it's factual, Ben. PJ's made the pass on Obsessed, but Obsessed who found the grass on corner exit at turn 4, and as a result, slips down a spot. So PJ, now up to P4, will start chasing now a podium finish with only soft turnarounds in front of him. Could he be the one to take advantage? We've seen him win races like, we've seen him win a race like this in the past. Think back to Brazil quite a few seasons ago now. A big crash brought out Ben, I'm not sure you're here for that. Ben, a big red flag crash midway through the Grand Prix, took out a number of fast runners, and PJ took full advantage of him and Ethan as a combo, who might have been driving an Alpine at that point as well, came through to take victory. That's PJ's only win in RDLs this day, and I'm thinking a podium finish might suffice for an Alpine team who had it rough this season by their usual standards. P8 in the Constructors' Championship. They can't really get much further than that now, short for 1-2 next week, but there's a chance here that PJ might have a shot at a win, or a podium at the very least, as AT still gets handled by Pope in second place.
You know what would ultimately demise one of these drivers now? A track limit penalty.
And we have one of them all day, and the only driver who's had one isn't going to finish the Grand Prix. So yes, that would absolutely kill things for the cars up front for now, as we see these guys going through turn 6 and now towards 7. Pope is keeping himself nice and close, and whether he goes for the same thing that we saw AT go for in turn 12 a couple of laps ago, I'm thinking we might see the same sort of thing here. He gets a fantastic run off of turn 9 through turns 10 and 11 and towards 12, not close enough yet. I think normally you want to be already alongside the car you're chasing at the very least in order to stand a chance at a move like that, but AT played his cards fantastically and now leads this thing with 6 laps to go, looking to become the next winner in what has been a fantastic season of racing here. And if this was the last race, this would be a memorable conclusion to the season, Ben. But we've still got rounds to go next week, which will hopefully be as exciting, if not more. But 6 laps to go, and Pope is still on AT's tail there. Getting close to contact. I thought Pope was going to try the outside for a second, but doesn't. Keeps it in line for now, and AT hangs on.
Indeed, he does. This has got to be the Minister of Defence of all defences, shall I say, from AT tonight. Curtis, for about 35 laps until Curtis eventually had a moment, he's now got Pope right behind him. He also Cook at one point. Obsessed as well, the Minister of Defence, if he does win this race, is what he will be crowned.
I made a Perez reference earlier. I think at this point, Perez would need to look at AT and go down on bended knee and beg for mercy from the new minister here, because he is in complete control of things with 5.5 laps to go. But let's not jinx things just yet, because things could still go wrong. There's plenty of window left in this Grand Prix for that. And Pope, I doubt is finished yet. I get the feeling now that this will be the point where we start to see drivers charging up for one last effort in the last sort of 2 or 3 laps or so, as you get towards the end of what's been a fantastic race here. The Dutch fans are on their feet, as they have been the entirety of the evening. The atmosphere here at Zandvoort has been absolutely fantastic to watch. And with 5 laps to go, they run past that sea of orange once again, and Pope is close. Going to try the outside here. AT keeps the door open, but Pope again not close enough, runs that wide line through turn 1. It's difficult there through being the chasing car, because the defendant, in most cases, Ben, the leader, as we've seen today, defends the inside. You can't really get yourself close enough and then move to the outside. You've got to sort of be there on corner entry to avoid losing momentum and losing too much time. So it's a difficult one to try and crack, but so far, those cars have made overtakes today, doing just that.
Yep, it looks like we are in for an absolute stellar last few laps of the Grand Prix. Who's going to come out on top here, Zach, do you reckon?
I mean, I think AT's in a driving seat right now, but I wouldn't put anything past Pope or even Cook, as JB makes a move now on Obsessed. JB into P5 at a circuit he's won it before, the normal way round. We'll see here if he can try and close up, and anything unlikely here could put him open for a surprise podium finish here, and one I think he's been looking forward to seeing perhaps all season, if for the right chance. This is an opportunity now for a number of drivers to try and nab something that we wouldn't normally get over the course of the campaign. Look at PJ and JB and Obsessed and Cottney in particular. Cottney about 5.6 back now from Obsessed, but scoring points, they can just bring the car home for Ferrari. It'll be a big game for them going into next week's race in Austria on the, what day is it on? It's on the 25th. It's the last race of the season next week. 4 laps to go, and Pope on the outside again, and not getting anywhere here. Almost onto the grass completely, almost onto the gravel.
Think he ghosted for a second there?
I didn't see it. I'm not too sure. I don't think he did. I think Pope measured come close to Pope, but not, I think normally the ghosting stays on for like the first couple of laps in these things. I think there's like a bug or something, and it goes away. HP Cook trying to challenge Pope into turn 5 and making no progress there. AT's going to try and pull away here, but everyone will start charging the battery up as JB hangs on over Obsessed in P5 now. Big 10 points going his way and going RB's way. PJ, a place in front of him, gaining 2 points. So there'll be 3 points separating them into the last race. Things setting up for a fantastic conclusion to the league next week in season 20. There'll be 3 laps to go when we reach the line, and it's still anybody's race.
Anything to play for.
Pope with a bit of a slide there. They might open the door for a HP to try and close and make a move. And I dare say, I don't think we'll be seeing Pope go for a move this time. And I wonder, Ben, when are those soft tyres going to start fading out? Is there a point now where perhaps where PJ or Obsessed might try and take advantage, moving up some spots here? But if they're going to go for it, it's got to be now. They've got to get through at least 3 cars each to stand a chance at a good finish, or at least at a podium finish, I should say. But it's going to be difficult doing, considering how hard it's been to pass today at the best of times. And now everyone's going to train here with DRS constant and soft tyres going on. It's all chaotic, and we're in for a fantastic finish here. I should think that it's all to kick off going on to the last lap.
Yeah, give it the last lap. Give it the last couple of laps. We could end up seeing our driver.
The pressure is well and truly on for everyone in this little train here, as any mistake, any penalty could spell doom for a decent finish. I mean, it's currently... I mean, we're still seeing all 7 of these guys scoring points. I should think now they've reached the 90% distance, or the 95, whatever it is, which means they should still be classified and get some points for their efforts. But now it comes down to who gets the most points and who gets the least as to where Pope makes his move. Pope slid here out of turn 12 a lap ago, and now he's right back in position to try and win this thing. There's 2 laps left, and I should think that now we start seeing everyone charging battery up to go for one last push to check a flag on lap 72. The AT in control here with just 2 more tours left to run.
I'm absolutely speechless. So I'm just so fascinated by absolutely everybody.
It's been a brilliant race here. Kudos to everyone for making it this far in the Grand Prix. These full-length races are tough. We have to get our appreciation in for these things now before we reach the end. The Random has joined us here. PWR locked on. Hopefully he's jumps on. It goes Pope to the outside now, looking for a move for the race lead, and that might bring Cook and PJ into play if they get close enough. Pope tried it on the inside, not going to try it, not going to get there enough for a second, and hangs back on. And right now, it's good battery for everyone in the field. JB's quite low on his, and that'll keep Obsessed behind as they make their way up towards turn 12 for the penultimate time. And Ben, it wouldn't surprise me to see a big send here by at least one driver late on in a lap's time. But AT's going to lead them round here to begin the 72nd and final lap of this reverse Dutch Grand Prix. And Pope is on his heels.
Yep, let's also not forget the fact that PJ is also in the equation.
Perhaps for a late podium finish here. 1 lap to go at Zandvoort, and Pope has got one last real chance here to go for something here at turn 1. Look at that fantastic static shot there of everyone going through the first few corners. Pope is close, but one of those soft tyres have given everything they can here as they make their way in through turn 3. The fans are on their feet here as they go through turn 4 and head on to DRS straight for the last time. It's the last bit of DRS you're going to get in this Grand Prix. Make it count here, Pope. Make his move to the outside. AT defends all the way to the inside. AT slides up. Pope sees his chance to the inside. They're side by side for the lead here on the last lap. Pope around the outside. AT underneath him. They're close to contact. Someone's got to give him, man. This is for the race winner, I remind you. Pope around the outside. Pope gets the lead back, but AT might not be done just yet. As they'll come down towards turn 12 one last time. AT right on Pope's tail here. He's going to need a big bit. He's going to need a big run. Bit of a slide from Pope there. He's going to defend the inside for one last push here towards turn 12 to complete this Dutch Grand Prix. AT gets to the inside there, makes his move underneath. They go close. There's contact. Both cars up the circuit. AT goes side by side as they make their way in through turn 13 for the race winner, I remind you. Pope slides up. HP Cook on the outside for second place, but AT has just about done it here. Final corner. Checker flag is up, and AT will win the Dutch Grand Prix for Haas. What a finish here at Zandvoort. Pope second. He came oh so close. Cook in third. PJ fourth. JV P5. Obsessed P6. And Connie complete Schroeder. That was the loudest I've been all season. I'm actually shouting in my room at the minute. But Ben, what an end to a race that was. That was brilliant. What a Grand Prix.
I have no words. No words at all. What a fantastic race that has been from start to finish.
Wow. We're used to seeing one Haas on the podium. Not this one. AT on the podium for the first time since Australia. And it's a race win for him. Big points. Now, help him close in a fair bit on Curtis. So AT now with an outside chance, perhaps nabbing 8th place in the Drivers' Championship as the celebrations begin for AT, Pope, and HB Cook. Whew, that was a race and a half, mate. That was absolutely fantastic to watch. And props to everyone who finished that Grand Prix. 7 finishers from 14. That race was chaos. Race winner, fastest lap and cleanest driver for AT. Driver today goes to HB Cook in terms of in-game. Courtney Goblin, most overtakes. I mean, it's easy to do when you start from P14, but there you go. AT wins it from Pope in second, HB Cook third, PJ Khaled P4, JB P5, Obsessed Gamer P6. 1.3 seconds covering the top 6 at the end of that Grand Prix. Courtney Goblin comes home P7, a distant P7, considering everything, but that's 6 points that they get over McLaren going into the next 6 race in Austria. 5 points separating those two teams, as far as I know, as far as my count goes, Ben. And we've got a number of things now to watch out for going into that final race, the reverse grid finale on the 25th of May next week. What a finish. I'm still just sort of like, I'm just rambling at this point. That was absolutely ridiculous. But there you have it. Ben, give me your thoughts, mate. I know you're speechless during the race, but just give them to me.
Bloody mental. Yeah, I have no words. It was a bloody mental. That was one of the best races this season, if not the best.
Oh, it's absolutely just tremendous viewing. And you just sort of, I don't know, I hate to sound ever so slightly ungrateful there, but I wish we just had a little bit more action on that last lap to just sort of make things happen. I thought for a second, when those two went into turn 12, when AT and Pope went at it into that right-hander, I really thought for a second they were going to make contact and slide up, and Cook was going to come through and steal it from the pair of them. That's honestly what I saw happening in my mind for a split second, but there we have it. And it didn't happen. AT held the lead, held his nerve, and he is your winner here tonight at Zandvoort. Congratulations to AT after a stunning Grand Prix, to say the absolute least. And obviously, yeah, as I said earlier, Sergio Perez, get down on bended knee and beg for mercy from the new Minister of Defence, or RDL's Minister of Defence. Wow. Wowzers. Post-race interviews, hopefully we'll get underway. We've got a number of drivers here who normally show up for these things that obviously finished the Grand Prix that we might see after, just sheer chaos in its purest form here at Zandvoort, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did. And hopefully we'll have to get well here with some of these guys. But Ben, do you need to lie down? Because I think I might.
Yes. Yeah. I think I need a week's rest. Not sure about you, Zach.
I mean, we've got a week to the last race, mate. So we can have that if we want it. But just like, what do you say after a race like that? All 6 of them giving it everything there at the very end.
It's just something that we're not used to, obviously. The top drivers having a bit of a mess, right? Obviously, Pope came through to win it. Hall found his moments here and there. Pope also had a moment. Emery crashing through rail, sustaining suspected rear wing damage.
I mean, just sort of the amount of things that sort of served as catalysts for what happened there. HB Cook has just joined us. HB Cook, 3rd place there at the checker flag. Cook, fantastic race. Props make it to the flag. And just that was... I've got to ask you this. For a split second at the very end there, going into turn 12, did you think that those two would come up together and you win it? Was there a hope for that?
Yeah. I literally put in chat just then that, I'll be honest, some of the sends in my opinion, were a bit questionable. But it's obviously hard racing. Everyone wants to win. Obviously, we're that close between us all. But no, I hoped and I prayed that them two would set each other out, but we took P3 after spinning out and then DM crashing, so we'll take it.
I mean, just so I'll ask this: the sort of the first reaction when that last safety car came out for Alvar, obviously that obviously gave everyone a chance to win the race again. Was the thought there? Did you immediately just think to yourself, "I can win this race"? Was that the immediate thought?
No. I've obviously, to be honest, I weren't really happy that the safety car came out. I thought I had the pace to beat 80 on track. And obviously I would have took, I think it was P2 or P3 at the time. So I would have happily took that, but you got to react to the situation that's around you. And I thought, hold on a minute, actually, Pope and AT can battle, so maybe there's a chance here. But at the end of the day, one of them of what will be, and we'll just see where we end up. And we got a podium out of it, so...
I'll ask about, obviously, you saw earlier on the race, Imrie went out from the race lead where Toll was down to equipment failure. His Fanatec just sort of cut out completely. Sauber would have had a chance, like with the results, to potentially lock down third place in the constructors realistically of Mercedes. Is it a bit more gutting now? You guys got to go to the last race, try and maintain that advantage.
Yeah, obviously, I think Imri's had the same issue I've had with Wheel over the last few weeks. So, it's disappointing for him. You saw the pace of him in the race when I think Grumio spun out and retired, and Imri was like on his own for a bit. But it's situations like this is out of our control, so we just have to pick ourselves up. And I like Osher reverse. I'm not sure about Imri, and with being reverse championship grids, anything can happen realistically. So it's just put up on the day and see what carnage happens.
If you had to sort of give me an answer now, what's the maximum you can get personally from that Grand Prix next week?
Oh, I'd like to say the top 8. I'd like to say realistically, I think that's where we will try and aim. Obviously, we'll play the team game. If Imri obviously comes up, and we'll try and hold off maybe like the Mertz or the Haas, like Grumio if he gets by. I'm behind Imri, so we'll have a plan in place, and it's just execute it and see how high we can get.
So those are the words then from one of our podium finishers today, going into the last race. HP got third place then for Kick Sauber, fantastic drive from him. And obviously, same thing for Pope, who obviously led for the majority of the second half of the race, but came up short at the very end. Pope, commiserations, but still a fantastic drive. You gutted?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've spun 3 times, so, I mean, it's not a bad result. I hated the track, but yeah, still a bit miffed off with the move, but is what it is.
Just sort of talk me through the final lap there in your eyes. Obviously, you were the one chasing going in, and then from there just sort of played out the way it did. Did you obviously just talk us through it from your end?
Yeah, I mean, I knew that his straight line speed would have got me, and especially on the soft tyres, it didn't really matter about your downforce, so he was able to get me and figured where I was stronger. So yeah, made a cracking move. And yeah, I was just unfortunate after the long straight, the squiggly straight, I should say, really. Pushed him, obviously, you're going to push hard, but pushed him towards the inside and, just outbroke himself and pushed me off and, yeah, claimed the position. So we'll see what the stewards say. But, everyone drove fantastically, so.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I was going to ask, quite similar to Kick Sauber trying to wrap up third place in the constructors. I mean, I think had you won the race, the gone out, you'd have wrapped up third place in the drivers. But obviously, you're at quite an advantage now. I think it's 23 points as it stands, the gap going to that race, obviously provisionally, of course. But is that a gap you're confident you can hang on to?
Yeah, provisionally, 23 points if things go the right way in the stewards, and hopefully it's wrapped up as it is. But I mean, 23 points is very hard to get. That's a race win. You have to win the race, and obviously I think competition is going to be quite high, especially with the reverse grids. You normally see different people up top, so yeah, let's hope. I'd like P3. That'd be quite nice. I've not had a great season, so.
And looking into that reverse grid finale next week, it's just for a bit of fun here, give me a prediction as to where you think you'll be starting from, and what's the highest you can get from the race?
I think I'll probably start P15. I think my qualifying is probably the weakest part of my racing. I'm not very good over one lap, maybe even P14. But I think if I'm starting that high up compared to everyone else, I mean, it worked for me last season, so hopefully it'll work for me again. That'd be quite nice, and try and get another win. But I think podium would be nice. Keep on the streak.
So to keep on the streak is the target then for Pope, who came so close to the very end of the Grand Prix, but in the end came up just short. A second place finish, but obviously that we'll see as to how the stewards report pans out in tomorrow or Wednesday, whenever it does come out. We'll come now last forward to JB, who comes home in P5. JB, I'm going to ask you, the podium, did you think it was there at any point, or were you happy with the P5?
I was wondering at the end, there were a lot of small collisions and, all it would take was one person to make a mistake and it would take several drivers out. So it was on my mind, especially as there was an incident earlier in the race, which stewards might be looking at. So, yeah, we'll see about that. But no, very happy with the result. Pace was good. Safety car kind of screwed me a bit because PJ was planning on pitting again and I wasn't, so that would have been a place. But no, happy otherwise. And
I mean, obviously, there was sort of a bit of talk prior to the race, the smaller grid might be a bit dull, but obviously things turn very quickly with Grumman and Imri's simultaneous retirements. Yeah, I mean, obviously only 7 cars made the flag, and it's 7 different constructors. So I think that's got to say a lot about sort of like the variance in terms of just how good the competition is in this league.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's a credit to everybody for pushing through to the end. I didn't see too many people just giving up, which was great. And I'm glad that everyone was close enough in pace that we could keep with each other. I don't think maybe with the exception of Cottony, there was no one really by themselves for most of the race. So yeah, really, really good pace from everybody, and yeah, it was interesting to see some of the retirements up front. But you've got to be in it to win it, and I don't know what's going to happen in the stewarding, but well done to AT if he does keep his win, because obviously it's the first one of the season.
And I'll ask you about next week's race from a personal standpoint. Obviously, PJ coming home and taking 2 points more from today, and that will move him to being 3 points in front of you going into the last race. Obviously, that sort of position will be on a knife edge in Austria. Are you confident you can potentially try and overhaul him at the last race?
Yeah, we'll certainly give it a go. I think also me and PJ both gained a lot of points on Alvar, who was ahead of us. So, yeah, if I can avoid finishing in the bottom 5, that'd be really good. But like you said, with the reverse grid, you just don't know. So we'll see what happens.
Looking at the maths here, obviously provisionally, of course, you'd be tied with Alvar at the stage, and PJ would be, I think that's 3 points in front of him. So a nice little 3-way fight between you 3 going into the last race. That should be something fun to cap the season off, no?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as you say, you had to get to 90% to be classified, and unfortunately, Alvar, though he was, running 8th when he crashed, no points because he didn't get to that mark. So, yeah, we'll see. It's going to be really close, and I'll absolutely give it my all in the final race.
And you guys at home can catch that final race on the 25th of May, same time, same place on the Zach RC channel. Ben, any final words before we start off, or are you done now? Is that it?
I just have no words. No words.
Does the word goodbye at all come into play?
It's a see you next week, shall we say?
That, you know what, I will take that as a nice little sign. Well, that'll do us then in terms of tonight's RDL coverage. Hope you did enjoy it as much as we evidently did. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more future RDL content, including the finale next week, Austria Reverse, to make it the longest RDL season in history. I've been Zach RC. Have a fantastic evening, a fantastic week, and we will see you all next time out. Goodbye.